All right, so this dude
podcast.
This dude asked me, are they like geniuses? Like viral geniuses? And I was like, no, they're dummies. You know, basically, it's just what I said. They're retards. Like, they don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And they saw it. Somebody clipped it. They saw it. You know, I figured I was doing the whitest podcast ever, that they weren't going to see it. Which I didn't care that they saw it, but like, in retrospect, like, damn, I could have been a little nicer, you know? But I was really talking like it was just me and you know? Like, right. And they were very upset about it and started threatening me, and I blocked them after a while because it just got kind of ridiculous.
Kind of corny.
Yeah. But I mean, they're like the least, like, I mean, if I was gonna beef with any rappers on earth, it would probably be them.
You would beef with them?
If I had to have murderous street beef with anyone, it would be them. Because they're gonna blow it. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're just not.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars, I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard. Told Jim I need a bomb I could drop on you niggas. Bad boy, I'm never gonna stop for you niggas. I don't give a fuck who you got is the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas. Now I'm rock with you niggas.
All right, we back. My expert opinion, episode number
118. What in the whole fuck?
This is part of the difference. This is different. It's different.
You the guest?
I know. Okay. I don't know. Wait, we gotta switch chairs.
No jump on my. What is it? No expert opinion.
Either you're slinging crack rock, or you got a wicked jump shot.
Woo!
Ain't nobody in here selling crack no more.
Oh, wow! Wow! Ric Flair, bitch.
But
easy with the Rico.
as far as the wicked jump shot, I leave that to my son. Shout out to Zay Hoffa. Mm-hmm. Tonight is gonna be a special one. I got my man Mech in the building. No kicks, no punches tonight.
Taking the day off.
You gonna spar after this outside?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. All right. Cool. Got my man Sean Bigger in the building. You want to give an introduction?
I want to introduce y'all to my son right here, my nephew, my everything, my world. He can say his own self.
My name is Michi. I go by ZK Michi.
ZK Michi.
You can check him out on YouTube. He got wonderful music, and y'all will be hearing from him soon.
ZK Michi. Facts. As soon as you change that line, we good. We good.
Oh, yeah.
Facts. We're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not going to.
That F word is illegal everywhere.
Yeah, all types of F.
Heineken. When is it going to happen, bro? We're all anticipating.
Listen, you bought Adam 22.
The channel being shut down because Heineken did some wild shit.
Listen. You got one of the porn masters. So why not bring one of the porno masters out of retirement? I'll do it for you. I left it alone. You know?
Yeah,
Shouts out to Pinky.
you.
I'm not here without her. All of them. What's up? No, she took a chance on me. So even though they kill her in public, I can't talk bad about her. Because she, you know.
Let Sarah live.
Sarah?
Damn, y'all saying names? Bleep both these guys. Bleep both of them.
Shouts out to all of them.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But we got one of the kings in the game. One of the top dogs. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that paved the way for the rest of you guys to think that you could just sit in front of a microphone and talk. And it means something to somebody. Some of you can, but not all of you. But this was one of the guys that set it off. We got Adam.
Thank you, my man.
Adam.
Appreciate that.
Woo! Oh, wait. Damn, I forgot to ask you that question that we asked off camera.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, might as well ask him here and see what his answer is.
And we'll just bleep everything.
Yes.
Is there anything that you don't want to talk about?
Nah.
Everything's open.
I don't care, yeah.
OnlyFans. We starting with OnlyFans?
Let's start with the
We've
ignorance.
started with OnlyFans.
We were just talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Now this is something that blew up over COVID time. Everybody kind of got into this, personal relationship with a woman that they don't know. And started supporting them and paying their bills. But now that there's guys in it, Adam, you do this, right? You and your girlfriend.
Beyonce, but yeah.
Fiance.
Congratulations.
Get it right.
You gotta put the status on it.
Salute.
Put the status on it. What made you get into that?
Well, when I met her, she was thinking about starting a private Snap, which was like the precursor to OnlyFans.
Right.
I told her, like, nobody's gonna pay for that. She made like 30K month one. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. And she had like 50,000 followers. So it wasn't like she was on some crazy shit, And then we just kept like just finding random girls, and like we'd be in the club and just meet girls, and we'd just be fucking them. And then we wake up in the morning and we just got these videos on our phone because we just end up filming it. And then at a certain point, she started to be like, hey, if such and such porn star girl comes through the crib on Tuesday at 4 p.m., are you down to fuck us and film it? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I can do that midday for sure. And then after a while, it became like, oh, we should start a porn podcast together where we interview the girls and then fuck them. And we'll just like do this business 50-50.
Yeah, shit is awesome.
This is like two Heinekens in the chair, right?
Oh yeah.
This is wild.
I see you just did the interview with Kylie Quinn. I'm like, oh, I love that whore, yo.
You like her? Okay.
Oh yeah, I just saw this guy like totally like degrade her.
Too far.
What are you talking about? It's on camera. It's on camera.
He's worried about YouTube.
Oh no.
YouTube's on like.
Okay, I just saw a guy
where we live.
who put her on a pedestal in such a way and
for the love of
delivered
God.
extreme genetics on her in such eloquent fashion, and I wanted to replicate that in real time, effective immediately.
I bet she's gonna be happy to hear that because I'm so glad that interview could have that effect on someone. That's
Oh no,
great,
no,
man. Are you already deep in there?
Yeah.
He's already.
What
that's how
interview
they
that
met.
did it?
Damn. Okay.
Word, he's always.
I
been.
had quit,
And I just want to say something. The other day I interviewed Rico Strong, arguably
Oh, that was a great interview.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
one of the greatest cocksmiths of our time, and he said the best pussy he ever had was Pinky.
Yeah.
Pinky?
Yeah.
And I tend to trust his opinion.
Wow.
I mean, he would. I guess he
know-
would know.
He seems like an expert.
But that's kind of an alley-oop for her because she's kind of been blackballed out of the whole thing.
But you think she really blackballed? I feel like
Not
people love her
blackball.
so
She's
much.
just getting. She's getting
know what it is?
hazed a little bit,
I'm
but
a-
I don't consider it blackball.
She been a straight arrow. One of the things she told me when I first met her, she said a lot of women get into porn so they can charge more money for escort services. They don't care about being porn stars. They just care about being able to charge $5,000 instead of $200. And then she said,
It's like a resume.
And she said most of the girls never had a bank account. They would all walk around with their money in
Cash.
suitcases. Like all the money they've ever made in porn was in their suitcase.
Suitcases?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So porn chicks are like a lick?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
But it's like that with
Was.
porn too, where like the OnlyFans girls now, they go and do a bunch of scenes for Vixen or Blac or whatever the fuck it is. That's just
Right.
promotion for their OnlyFans.
That's
now,
it.
And then they can make more on their
More
own.
money. Oh, that's crazy.
That-
How do you?
They're unsigned rappers now. They're literally
unsigned rappers.
They're literally unsigned rappers. Going to shoot with one of the big studios. It's like getting a feature.
Why is everybody always making these girls rap though? Just let them fuck.
Well, nobody.
No, thank you.
That was not my
Thank you.
suggestion. That was 100% not my suggestion. I don't think 90% of the people who are rapping should be rapping, especially not you
Yeah,
got-
he likes to throw demos in the trash.
I don't like
he's
it.
a purist.
Yeah.
You know.
He's a connoisseur.
Yes.
That's what you do. Connoisseur.
I'll take that one.
Some people just drink wine. He
He smells it.
Exactly. He sniffs it.
It smells good.
But
So-
what made what is that like? Cause I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple times in my life when I was like, okay, they both knocked out. The bed is soaked. I might be able to get a check for this. But I never had the heart to actually go into it.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Were you just already like on that Like, yo, I grew up watching porn. I love it.
I just
man.
like gradually got like inched into it by her because she just
Pause.
Yeah, pause. But we just kept doing
in New
it.
York, Adam.
You know, at first we're filming it. I was there when Cam and them started saying that. I told them that pause thing. I like that. Keep going with that.
Yeah.
Fuck no homo. Go with pause. But I don't know. I just like casually got broken into it with my girl, and also like at a certain point too, it's like she kept blowing up as a porn star, and she never said it. But it's like realistically, it's like if I'm not gonna be piping you, then I'm like severely limiting your career. So I better be the one. Because I don't want someone like him coming in having to do the job for me, you know?
Right. So you don't allow her to
No,
be
it's
with any
just
other
with me, yeah.
Right, okay.
I respect that. That's ill, because I used to be like, how can this dude sit here and let his girl get ran by multiple streetlights consistently and then be like, baby, I love you. I'm like, yo, she just got a train ran on her.
There are dudes out there who that's
Let me tell you something. When I did the interview with that girl up in Harlem, and I poured the milk on her, I showed it to girls. Ariana
What
Star.
a sentence.
Ariana Star.
Okay.
Her man, who's in porn, was like, why would you let him do that to you? And I'm like, yo, you just did ghetto gaggers.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing worse than that.
He may not have been mad at.
Oh no, he was mad.
Let me finish the sentence. He may not have been mad because he poured the milk. He may have been mad because no check came out of it. Sometimes that's why they're pissed off. There's dudes for everything you see. There's a dude out there who's alright with that.
That's the reason why I show Pinky respect. When she gave me that look, even her man had a problem with that. And I'd be like, yo, you're getting...
Sometimes it's just unsanctioned. Like, I've seen those arguments. That's why I'm talking like this. I've seen those arguments.
Did you live that argument?
I've seen those arguments.
Don't play me.
And 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, the
This
reason
would
why
be the episode that Heineken is gonna go hard. Yo, Mecca, did you live that argument?
Why are you helping him? What is this?
Saying.
Because people don't know.
See, this is Brooklyn. This is Brooklyn. Pay this no attention.
you
Adam, he doesn't want his strike.
You outnumbered tonight.
For real.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
For real.
Oh, word?
I'm 100% not. Like, please don't listen to them.
You can't
Put
show
your
me his
phone
resume
down.
right
Heineken,
now?
put your phone down. Heineken, put your phone down. Put your goddamn phone down. Put your phone down.
You know, Joe Button said it.
You're in
and
my,
he's not a liar.
You're in my range from here. Put your phone down.
He's an MMA killer.
Put your phone
Yeah,
down.
leave that alone.
What I've seen 9 times out of 10 with dudes like that, when those arguments are coming up, 9 times out of 10 that shit wasn't sanctioned. That's not what was discussed going in. So they get upset because some random shit happened. But it's really not that serious. I mean, unless
they
it is.
broke up, nigga. What you talking about? Both of them.
Too much random shit. Too much random shit. You know what that's like? You know when you get with a woman and she was dressing super sexy when you met her? Mm-hmm. And now you're with her and she's still dressing super sexy?
I want that.
And then she goes out without you and she's dressing super sexy?
Well, that's whatever comes her way, that's her fault, though.
See how fast that happened?
What do you mean?
How you found a way to get upset with something that was always happening before,
because-
during, and after you?
Right.
No. I'm not upset.
No,
But you automatically went to whatever comes
No.
your way.
I don't control anybody. But
Right.
if you're gonna go out there and do that, don't be mad at the result.
Well, no, nobody's...
That comes to you.
But we're not even...
See, they mad at the result, knowing how they maneuver. That's
We're not even discussing the result. We're discussing the action. The action is the same all the way through. Your reaction to the action changes from moment to moment to moment.
Have you ever had a situation like that?
What?
With a girl that you guys might have did a scene with or something, and a boyfriend kind of gets upset about it?
Yeah, like I'll even have real deal porn stars who are allowed to fuck everyone, and then they're not allowed to fuck me because the guy like watches the podcast and feels weird about it. So that sucks. But yeah,
There you go.
I've definitely had that, you know? It's weird because it's like you see girls, they get in the game, they're popping, they're young, they're filming, they're doing their shit, they're starting to blow the fuck up, and they always get a boyfriend because now they got money, they just want some stability, they want some security, they meet a guy, he's nice, he's cool, boom, they're all of a sudden dating. Maybe he's cool with her getting piped out by other guys for a little while, and then at a certain point he's like, nah, I don't want you doing that anymore. And you can only shoot with me, or you can't shoot with guys in general, and then that puts stress on the relationship. And then at some point she gets a reality check and she's like, why the fuck am I ruining my career because of you? And then they break out of the relationship and then she starts
These
the
guys
process
sound
over.
like they pimps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't sound
like
boyfriends.
boyfriends. They sound like
they
pimps.
pimps.
The guy tries to assert himself, he wants a different, he's like, fuck, I could have all, like once the guy
Well, he's
starts
gotta
getting made
feel-
fun of by his friends,
Right.
that's when he probably like
But he's
puts
got
his
to
foot
feel
down.
emasculated because to a certain extent, like most people are just not built for that type of situation.
definitely
You know what I
not,
mean?
yeah.
Like even in your case, you said you don't want your fiance doing scenes with other guys. So, I can understand that, but I don't know, man. That's kind of the
Imagine the situation was different if we didn't have hella money, like where she clearly doesn't have to do that. If that was the difference between her like making 6 figures a month and her not, then at a certain point as a dude, like how much leverage do you have? I'm lucky because I got plenty of leverage, but if you're a dude who's not really bringing anything to the table, at a certain point you see the girl kind of break out of it and be like, oh, I don't need you. I actually control the pace of this relationship. I can kind of determine the rules.
But most women in that position, what kind of man would they look for? A man that's dependent
But the thing with these
to
girls
give
is
them
that
security.
they want a guy, a lot of the girls don't really want a boss or a hustler or a dude who's out doing their thing. They kind of want somebody who's sort of subservient where he's a big dude, he got a big dick, but he's like around. He's not at work 8 hours a day.
Right.
He's not off shipping packs all day. He's
Right.
kind of just around.
He don't got no bread.
Because like...
Well, he doesn't have a life.
He's dependent.
No, he's
Because the chicks turn into the dudes and then they fucking start to manipulate the guys the
Exactly.
same way that we do to girls.
You
It's
know who
fucked.
went through that?
Yeah.
K
Huh?
Goddess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she just
that's
spoke on
that's
that.
kind of crazy.
When we
kinda
spoke
crazy.
about it with Remy, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that didn't take long at all.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Eh. Yeah. You know what? The funny part is the dudes who are okay with that, you never hear from, because they all just somewhere being quiet. It's just it's cool with them. They're avoiding the ridicule. They're avoiding the judgment. They're avoiding the eyes. They're just quiet. Most people who are happy in their situations are quiet.
All the time.
You never hear, it's the rah-rah that we always pay attention to. So you think everything is rah-rah. Meanwhile, there are people who are going along about their lives, enjoying the same shit that we would judge them for. They just quiet in the background.
Yeah, but
No
realistically, all right, I've had a run-in with a couple of, people that were pros,
Yeah.
and they were a little off, bro.
Yo.
They were very off.
You talking
like,
about Brian Pumper?
No.
Oh,
But
it fucking could be.
no. That was the actual situation.
you know Brian Pumper stole his song, right?
No, he didn't steal the song. He said something funny in the interview.
That was my interview.
Right.
Yes.
And then
Wait,
somehow a long arm came out and just got him to apologize. And,
I know that.
But shout out to Brian. Like, he realized he was wrong for just talking
Because
like
he took something from you. It was a
that.
bar.
It wasn't something he took. It was somebody brought me up in an interview.
That
he
was
was
me.
like, right. And he was like, I don't know who that is. Like,
Because he
just
jacked
said
one-
some crazy shit.
Listen, he jacked one of your songs. He took a line.
But you brought it up.
Yeah, and I
because-
said, why'd you take Math Hoffa's line?
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck Math Hoffa. I said, you don't want to do that, bro. And then that's when Jack was like, you're going to die, nigga. And then you see his eyes go, and then he's like, can you please tell Math, don't kill me? I said,
Nah,
Yeah.
but it
made
wasn't that
Worldstar.
crazy. But it was
Yes, it
just
was.
like, yo,
yes, it was.
I don't think any of us should be disrespecting people we don't know.
Absolutely.
And he came to that conclusion, and then he made like a video rectifying the situation while a chick was like giving him.
He's like, my bad, man.
He's like, yo, shout out to man.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? I said some crazy, da. It was wild. It was on Worldstar. It was on Worldstar. That was nuts.
It's a hell of a way to apologize.
Yeah.
He was scared for his life.
It is.
Not at that moment.
But do
he
you
wasn't.
find like most of the women that you meet in that lifestyle, are they all the way there?
I mean, honestly, I kind of came into porn thinking that the chicks were going to be more fucked up than they ended up being. But then also, I feel like nowadays, a lot of the chicks who are really winning just have like a straight up like hustler mentality. They're very much about their business. They're not getting fucked up on drugs and stuff. So when we do have a girl who comes through, I remember we had this one girl who was just like blatantly off her face, off Adderall or meth or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was such a weird throwback because I'm so used to dealing with chicks who are professional, and also like we're shooting at like 2-3 p.m. So I mean, if you're fucked up, it seems kind of out of the ordinary to me. You know,
you didn't even wait.
If we were shooting at 10 and you were drunk, I mean, I get it, but like you know, that's always kind of surprising. But nah, honestly, I feel like most of the girls. I mean, porn definitely like houses a lot of weird ass chicks and dudes for sure. But I don't know. A lot of the girls are girls who are just hot. They don't want to fucking have a job. They don't want to like fucking, you know, have to go do some bullshit every day. They're a lot of them are kind of like isolationists where they don't necessarily kick it with that many people. And a lot of them kind of end up reminding me of like, I don't know, the types of dudes I hang out with who like are not really trying to like fit into a box of like, you know, going and doing a 9-to-5 every day and shit like that where, I don't know. And like the porn dudes I know, they're like exactly like the fucking drug dealers I know, where they're just rolling around town, just shooting content, just getting a little bag with all these different girls over and over and over. And I'm like, you know, shit, I respect it. I wish I figured that hustle out earlier.
Well, how much Viagra
I don't do it.
is involved in this whole shit?
Oh, in general, I think a lot. Like, I think a lot of people fuck with that shit, but I never did it.
You never did it?
No. I'm
Right,
scared.
would you say it?
If I did?
You said you're scared?
Yeah.
Why are you scared? You know it cures cancer.
I just feel like
It kills COVID too.
I feel like I'm doing really good.
COVID. Don't quote me on the cancer thing. Cut that out. Yeah.
Don't quote him on the COVID thing either.
I'm doing good, and I don't feel like I want to play with the remedy that I got
mechanics.
going. Dan Bilzerian was just trying to convince me to get on steroids. I'm like, I don't want to mess with my scenario, bro. I feel like I'm in a good place right now.
Right.
With my dick.
I mean, was it because of how Kevin Samuels went out that put the fear in you too? Because they said it was whatever he mixed.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard them talking about the Red Bull, but I didn't think
The Red Bull mixed with one of the pills, and then
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then,
I didn't hear that.
That's crazy. I didn't hear that.
That's
I knew he
wild.
was sipping those Red Bulls though.
yeah,
was
he
sipping
mixed
those
it with.
during the show.
He had one of.
I didn't.
Yeah, the sex pills definitely attack your heart, so you know.
I
Yeah,
never
we gotta
did
be able
one.
to handle that shit.
I figured that. I didn't hear that story, but when I heard the story of him dying after he was with the girl, I figured that it had something to do with a sex pill. I did.
But the Red Bull thing was weird to me because, like, I mean, I drink a couple cups of coffee a day. I feel like most dudes I know do. I don't like feel like anybody's dropping dead from it. Is a fucking Red Bull that much worse?
It's
Yeah.
excessive.
Red Bull-
Yeah,
Yeah, and he-
Excessive.
I think you compound it.
yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And watching his show,
He was drinking like 3 to 4.
Always
he
had like 2 or
excessively
3.
drank. The doctor tell you that.
Yeah, and I had one years ago, and my best friend, I just ran up to him and was trying to go over something with him, and he was like, "Yo, are you all right? Like, the fuck is wrong with you?" I didn't think I was doing anything strange, but he was like, "Yo, you're talking a mile a minute, you keep fidgeting, and this is one can, and I just it just tasted alright." I was like, "All
He was
right,
just
cool."
like, yeah.
But you don't know. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, let's. He was like, yo. He kept doing this. And I started getting annoyed because we gotta hurry the fuck up.
Right.
But meanwhile, he's like, yo, you want to sit down?
you're tripping.
He's worried about me.
Right.
That's one can. This dude, Kevin Samuels, you watch his show, he's going through like, he might
he's
have like 2
chugging
or
them.
3 of them a night. Like, that shit is. Just watching it, I was like,
And the wrong sex pill, the ones that's not natural, you know, that's the one that directly attacks your heart. You got to use like.
So which ones are
natural.
the safe ones? Does anybody know?
The honey.
The honey? The honey? Yeah, I know about that honey, don't you? You know about this. You know about this.
Yeah,
Oh,
honey.
right across the street.
No, the honey is safe.
The honey, and what's the other one? The horny goat weed?
horny goat weed. I've seen that
goat
package.
weed.
No, what was
Adam,
Junior
like, I
Reed
don't
talking
use none
about?
of that shit.
I never did it. Yeah.
Junior Reed was talking about. He said,
Yeah, what was the thing that Junior Reed said?
Oh, it's
root ale,
Root?
root ale, something like that. Roots wine.
Roots.
Roots wine, yeah.
Roots wine.
Yeah.
Roots
It's not
wine.
like a bottle that they sell. You gotta go with somebody who makes that.
All right. Well, it's Coquito.
there you go.
It's Coquito for Jamaicans. There you go.
That's wild.
I'm just guessing.
All right.
I'm just guessing.
Be careful with your heart, kids.
The
the
girls,
main thing I'm taking
the
from
girls that be involved in this, how many of them? Because this is something I always wonder. You know, how many of them are like that you might notice like might be sexual victims?
Yeah.
I wonder because like I feel like a lot of them probably wouldn't say it on an interview or whatever because they feel like it's not hot or whatever. They don't really want to get into something that's serious on camera. You definitely hear about it, but you know it's definitely a good percentage for sure. But nowadays, especially, I feel like girls just see the bag.
They see the money. Yeah.
They're totally well adjusted. They're totally like normal fucking girls that anyone would be able to get along with, and they just are like, oh, I can make 6 figures a month.
Right.
Fuck all this other shit. I'm just gonna do that, you know?
They got so many. They can go on seeking arrangement.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing right there.
But have you ever done a scene with a girl, but you had a conversation with her before, and like during the scene, you're like, yo, she's fucked up, man. This is bad. This is bad. I'm kind of adding to this shit.
I'm adding to it. Nah, because how can my dick not do anything but make it better? Like, I can't make it worse. You know?
Oh God.
Like, what's my dick gonna do to it?
If you hit the
Yeah, I
right
guess
wall,
so.
she gonna be like, and then sit on the edge of the bed and have a flashback.
Now see, how come you didn't ask him how that was, if that was a real moment of that? That sounded like
Oh, that was straight
That was
recall.
your open. That was your open. You should have took it. Was that a real moment?
Like 5 times.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool.
They know
For
You know
me-
what's taboo?
For me, I spent a whole night being a psychiatrist
Yes.
for one of these chicks.
That's the after effect. I had to, yeah.
And then when we eventually got to that, that was my thought. I'm like, yo, I'm kind of fucked up for this.
But you
she
in it
likes
to win
it.
it.
But she likes it.
But you know, Bigger said something about, you know,
Whatever.
women being, you know, going through that. Another thing that's taboo, a lot of those women are being molested by other women. A lot more than dudes. A lot of aunts,
What?
way more than uncles.
What?
I know at
The
least-
women are molesting
Yes.
the women.
Yes,
That's
the young.
unheard- yeah,
I'm
that's
telling you,
unheard of.
it's a high
That's brand
number.
new. I didn't know about
I
that.
didn't know that
Nah,
either.
It's very
that's-
taboo,
he's not,
but-
he's not lying.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
A lot of
let-
times they think it's an uncle or a stepdad.
It's another woman.
It'd be a step aunt, an aunt.
Have you ever did the role play, the stepdad role play?
You wasn't living that Mano life?
I never had to do any kind of acting, really. Like, nah. One time I pretended to be a podcaster and we were filming the scene where my girl crawled under the table while I was interviewing this other girl and started sucking my dick while I'm doing the podcast, and it was super confusing because the table wasn't high enough and the chair was too high, so there wasn't enough room for her to really get in there.
So she was like, yeah.
But anytime you film porn with like actual porn companies, they make you do a bunch of bullshit that is like not comfortable but looks cool on camera. And every time we fuck girls on camera, like we are thinking about the camera because you gotta open up, you gotta keep your arm out the way, you know, you gotta tuck it behind the back and shit.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
gotta kind of tilt your hips
tilt
when you're
like
doing
this.
back shots from the side. And
Or you
all
know,
that.
like when you're really fucking, you sometimes like you just get your dick in there and you're just kind of like you're like moving it back and forth in
right.
there. Porn is about
Yeah.
in the full.
So what's the top 3 uncomfortable things that you have to do during porn?
Yo, I swear I'll fuck my back up because I'll be going like this to make it look bigger.
That's the clip for YouTube right there.
And it took me a minute to realize that's why your back is sore. Because if you're filming like this, your shit looks tiny. If you're filming like this,
is like, whoa.
it looks huge.
Yo, Adam knows his angles. Are you serious?
All right, that's one. All right, that's one.
Faces, angles for real.
All right, that's one.
I see what you did there.
And one time I had a girl, she was really excited to show off that she was a spinner. So she's sitting on it and she starts spinning on it, which was cool, but I also kind of felt like she was giving my dick an Indian sunburn, like twisting the skin
why?
in a weird motion. So that was kind of
That was weird. Yeah. The spinning, I don't know. What's the point of the spinning? It doesn't.
Showing
She
off.
learned
It's
something.
showing off.
Yeah.
Just want to try it. So you can
It,
a midget?
women sometimes do things that I think they think is like sexy.
Yeah.
But it's really doing nothing for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta be like, no, because they'll try to be licking my nipple and shit. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's one of the
that's not
favorite
cool. I don't like that.
I'm not mad at that.
No,
See, I'm not here
mad
for
at
that. I'm with Adam. I've never dug that.
I'm not mad at that.
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but it's also like, I don't want the camera to capture you doing that to me. I feel like I'm fucking breastfeeding you. It's just too weird.
Okay, what's 3?
Yeah, no.
Well,
I thought that was 3.
I'm gonna
Hold on.
uncomfortable things. I mean, like when you're doing anal, you can get shit on you, and there's a lot of different kinds of shit, and you will find out about all the different kinds.
Oh, abandoned ship.
Yeah, that's
Abandoned ship.
that's kind of yeah.
And you're all here. The cameraman's here.
Anal
The
is-
sound guy is here. So you know what you do? You go over to the bathroom and you get a paper towel and some soap and you clean that shit off your leg and you go right back to work.
Right back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you didn't just get shit on.
Back to work.
Acting like you're into it. Maybe you are. You know.
Oh, you went you went to that shit.
He's a professional, yo.
I honestly, I like compartmentalize. Like I'm not thinking about other shit. I'm just like I'm kind of there with a boner. Sometimes my girl like goes to like look in my eyes, and I can tell that she knows that I'm just like lost in thought, just having a boner, because sometimes it looks so good that I don't want to look at what's happening.
Because then you'll
It's
gonna
like,
be
I don't want to
it'll
nut.
be
So
over. Yeah.
I got 3 girls sucking my dick. It's like if I look at you and actually think
it's
about
over. The scene is over.
Yeah, if I think about how good that looks and
Right.
how good it feels, that's
Yeah.
bad. So I'm kind of like just looking at the brick wall, thinking like brick wall.
So you kind
Brick wall.
of don't get to enjoy it.
You gotta, sometimes, but you still get to enjoy it for sure.
I mean, for guys, like we go through the same thing. You first time with a chick, you kind of like trying to show her like, you kind of take yourself someplace else, and yeah.
But you
know,
are
I don't really get to
working.
enjoy it.
Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're working. It's
Right.
a job. If you ever watch porn be made, it'll really
This
fuck
shit's
you up.
the
for
dumbest
that.
shit I've
it'll
ever
turn you
seen.
off from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You won't. It's
Like
not
it's
the same.
10-hour
After you
shoots
see it,
sometimes.
you hear the women talking to the dudes. You wonder why Viagra's in the picture, because a woman will walk in there talking about, is your dick hard? Can you hurry the fuck up? I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's like, wow, that's really sexy. Thank you so much. Like, that's exactly what I needed to
But
hear.
you still got to perform.
But he has
after
to do
that.
the job.
And that's why when I hear about the shit that the real porn dudes do, because for me, it's like I get to fuck for 20, 30 minutes and I'm done. I go home. Like these dudes, you have to shoot photos of you doing all the sex positions that you're gonna do. So you have to keep a boner while not even really fucking, just like having a fucking big ass boner doing all these photos. Then it's like, oh, okay, break down, set up different cameras, different lights, et cetera, et cetera. Then
Right.
boom, you have to get hard again, and you have to fuck her for 20 minutes in every different position. And when I hear dudes talk about that, I'm like, yo, like,
Yeah,
the
that can't
dudes
be
and the girls
enjoyable.
involved, like you earned your fucking paycheck on doing that shit, because that is some fucking shit right there.
It's not sexy.
Yeah.
It's not sexy.
That Rico Strong interview, I think the best clip was him talking about how he fought that the sexual case and how he got like off on that, how he needed all the evidence.
The nanny cams.
The nanny cam saved his life. Cause she was like, yo, he took advantage of me and whatever. And it showed he's like giving her water. She signed the waivers and everything.
Right.
And when
And
Adam
even
was-
with the waiver,
she was trying to go
Still
full.
got
Yeah.
it.
And
Adam
his
was the-
career took real damage from that too. Even if nowadays it seems like people have realized that he wasn't in the wrong, it's still like, the porn companies, they don't want some around if they have to worry about it and everybody's not on the same page. So like, I mean, realistically, he probably
You
could
ever
have
went
sued
through
the
something
dog
like that?
shit out of her. Not in the porn world, thankfully.
But like in the hip hop podcast interview world, somebody gave a false story of
I had some girls throw dirt on my name back in the day, but get past it.
yeah, that's whack. How recent does the testing have to be?
2 weeks. You got to get tested every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So like I got burnt one time like 6 months ago, and it was just, I mean, the girl must have been tested for every 2 weeks or whatever, and I'm sure she just went to the club and met some dude, and like that's like the thing you're not supposed to do if you're doing porn. You're not supposed to just fuck civilians who aren't tested. I'm sure that's what happened, and
Right.
boom, I get hit. But
Damn.
that shit really sucked because I had to cancel like 2 weeks of shit until I could test clean. And
Did your girl think you was cheating?
No, because she got it too.
She got. Oh shit! Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
The testing places send you birthday shout outs. That's the funny part to me.
Really? Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they'll say every year on the birthday they'll send an email. Hey, happy birthday! We just want
Checking to see if you're alive.
Yeah, basically,
What?
it's super funny. It's super funny. They send you a birthday post.
I'm a lucky man. Never had to go through none of this shit.
You never got tested?
No, I got tested. I got tested. But you know what? There was a lot of times I did the nigga test. Y'all know what the nigga test is?
The girl gets tested?
Facts.
She don't got
good?
it.
You good? You
I don't got it.
Yo.
Facts. I'm good.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, that's wild.
I got a question, a little bit more of a serious note, I guess. Family. Outside of all the fun shit that we're talking about and all the work shit, at the end of the day, you're like a full dad. Like you're like a whole father.
Yep.
And you have a whole fiance and you have a whole family. You're really out here, Adam 22 and all that fly shit, but you're really out here on some family vacation shit, doing sightseeing and touring, like, and there's gonna be PTA meetings coming and you know, college admission boards and maybe even, you know, housing authority shit. Like there's things you're gonna, you know, HOAs and shit. Like there's all this regular dad shit that you have to be involved in that you don't get to necessarily leave Adam 22 out of.
Right.
I know a lot of boyfriends and a lot of husbands who left the business because when real life started showing up outside of work, that's where the ridicule was coming from. And it was hard on the kids.
Right.
Like have you prepared for those moments? Have you thought about like what that looks like 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
I mean, I don't feel like anybody could ridicule me because I don't give a fuck and my kid's just gonna have to be on the same page as me, you know? Like, I don't know. Like you watch that show Succession?
I'm familiar with it.
There was a part in that show that I loved where like there was a journalist and she's just threatened, she's talking about all this embarrassing shit that she was gonna release about one of the characters and she just says, "We don't get embarrassed." And I really resonated with that because I'm like, that's how I felt my whole life. Like you could throw anything at me, like I'm cool. Like I'm not gonna let that perspective of me matter or whatever. But yeah, for me as like a dad, that shit is super important to me because I feel like, I don't know, like pretty soon after I had the kid, I just realized like, oh, I need to like really take time off to just witness this and observe this. And if I just keep grinding every day, all day, which is just what I've been used to like my whole life, then I'm just not gonna really get a perspective on my kids' upbringing. So that shit is super important to me at this point, and I got no problem like taking time off, going on family vacations. My girl's got me going on all kinds of crazy trips she booked this summer just because I told her I wanted to take more time off to be able to focus on just really spending quality time with the kid and everything. So I'm excited about all that shit you said, like, you know, in terms, like I am just trying to stay low. I don't want to be like a public fucking dad. Like I seen a dude tweeting about his school board, like talking about something that they were teaching in the school he didn't like the other day, and I was like, I'm never gonna involve my public platform with what the fuck is going on with my kids' school. Like
You say that now.
even just putting her on. You're right. Maybe I'll get mad about something I want to put it on my Twitter, but like I don't know. Like I just even putting my kid on my story and like letting the world share the joy that I'm having right now. Sometimes I just like to think about it like, you know, maybe I'm just not gonna post her for the next year. Maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'll never post her again. Maybe I'll just let her and my thing with my kid just be our thing and just not ever have to hear about it again besides what the fuck happened to your kid, you know? Like, I'm definitely glad that financially I don't have to be like a fucking family vlogger. Like, I know people who, they can barely spend time with their kids because everything's a photo shoot and a video shoot and trying to make content out of it. I'm so glad that I don't have to mix and mingle those streams together.
Is it okay to know how old the kid is?
1.5.
Okay, you got it.
We got it.
Yeah, there was a story recently of this chick that was on OnlyFans. Her son was in high school, and the students found out his mother had an OnlyFans, and I guess it caused turmoil between him and his mom because they were teasing him about it,
Like
to
relentlessly.
the point where he attempted suicide.
Like cyberbullying. Like dudes were like, yo, if I got a credit card account, I can send your mom an extra $50. She'll bust it open in front of the 7-Eleven. And you know how the OnlyFans, and the kid, he's not a punk. He tough, but every class, first, second, third period, 40 kids are like, look at your mom, look at your mom, look at your mom.
Right.
Knowing that, does that make, what's the process you're gonna deal with your kids or your daughter? Like, are you gonna
how do you
homeschool
protect them from that?
I mean, my whole thing is that my kid is gonna be exposed to this shit to, slowly, but like, I bring her to parties at porn star friends of ours' houses, they got the fucking nicest houses I ever seen and shit, and they're having kids, and like, my kid is just gonna think that shit is so normal. And I don't know, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a chance of like bullying happening at a certain point, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with what I'm doing. I think I could easily like raise my kid to understand that mommy and daddy do grown-up shit. And then there's also the weird fact of like, bro, I'm 38. Like, what are the odds that I'm doing this still 10 years from now? Like, I already like very clearly don't have to do this. I'm just kind of, it's fun for me and my girl, and like, it is like, it's a bigger deal to her, like it's a bigger percentage of her income than it is for me. But also it's like, I don't know, I kind of feel like by the time my kid knows what the fuck is going on, that it might be like a memory, which.
The internet is forever though.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you want to be my kid in general. Take the porn out the equation. You want to be my kid with all the bullshit that I'm getting into public. I'm beefing with the Island Boys and shit. Like, it ain't gonna be easy on my kid either way. Like, they're just like, but all right, for every kid like that, I mean, look at like Kim Kardashian's kids. Like, I'm sure that they've been
homeschooled.
They've been confronted by it. That's a good point.
Homeschooled. Because
And they got security.
And here's the other thing too is, if my kid is in fucking 5th grade, you know what percentage of the other kids in there's mom's gonna have had an OnlyFans? Like, porn is just not like it used to be back in the day where it was this tiny pocket of girls doing it. Like, the number of
It's a
kids
lot of girls.
whose moms are naked on the internet is like ridiculously high.
Ghost?
And my kid gets to say, yeah, well, my parents are stupid rich off of this shit, and I don't have to worry about nothing. So, I mean, hey, we all played the games. Some people did a little better at it than others,
Right.
That's fair.
Wow.
Here's hoping.
Hoping. Well, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm not worried about it, or I've never really worried about it, But I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can't control. Like,
Have you considered it though?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like crossed my mind because everybody thinks that that's the most genius comment to leave is like, your kid is gonna get bullied when he's older. Like, everybody says that, like thinking it's funny,
No, but
It's
being
actually like
actual
sad
real
and fucked up.
situation,
Like,
yeah, it is.
The fact that people like default to laughing at that, like those are the people I block the
Yeah,
fastest because I'm just like, bro,
'Cause
you got a
that's not
fucked up
something to laugh at.
mentality, man.
Because I'm sitting here with two fathers. You know what I mean? And I hear the way they talk about their kids.
Yeah.
No matter, like, his daughter.
Yeah, if she wants to piss me off, she shakes her butt, and then I chase her.
How old?
She's 7.
Oh, Jesus.
She's like, Daddy,
man, like that's.
and then because she knows that, yo, stop doing that. Don't do that. Like, I'm real protective of her. But
And Bigger will stop the clock for his kids. You know what I mean? Like, be out by the car chopping it up. Yo, listen to this thing my son did. Yo, check this thing that, yo, listen to this, blah, blah, blah. And me and him, you know what I mean? Like, he's got my number. That's how he first got my number was, hey, my kid is doing this, and I would like for you to, yo, no problem, absolutely,
Right.
100%. But
Right.
I hear how they talk about their kids and how they try to protect their children from protect and prepare. So my question is, how do you protect and prepare
like, I'll tell you a story.
your child for
I'll tell
what
you.
We got a while to figure it out. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you got a lot of
I got a
time.
nice little runway to figure out how to ease her into it,
For me, I remember my son was in 1st grade. I was very involved, going to the school, talking to teachers and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Like, they go, oh, Mr. Edwards is very cool, very cool, very cool. But my son knew about the shit that happened on Smack.
Yeah.
He knew how to find it on YouTube. So one day I was late to pick him up, and they had him in the office, and as soon as I walked in the office, he was hitting play on that shit.
Why was he timing it to play?
No, he was already
just
in the
coincidence.
office. And he played it, and I heard it. Yo, son, get out my face, son. Oh! And I just saw the teachers' faces come up and look at me, and I was like, ah, shit. This ain't a good look. And from that day on, some of them was cool, but some of them was like, you know, he's thuggish, ruggish. I don't know, you know, what he was doing before. So I felt the difference in people knowing, oh, he's into this, he's into that. So you got a lot of time to figure that out, definitely. Homeschool might be an option. Homeschool might be an option.
I'll say this is that I know my kids are gonna be going to the best fucking private schools in the country, so
Right.
I'm not super worried about it. I'm sure they have good anti-bullying protocols to get her through that part. Because I feel like by the time you're really an adult, it's like, you know, I mean, you have to like infect your kid with your attitude. And if my attitude is so much that I don't give a fuck what anybody says about me, and I openly invite the criticism and I go out of my way to stir shit up because I want the smoke, it's like at a certain point, my kid, it's hard for me to imagine her not kind of getting that from me at a certain point.
Right.
But I guess, you know, I got a lot to
And
learn
plus-
about parenting.
Okay, so speaking of wanting to smoke. Yo, what's the issue with you and the Island Boys, bro? Like, what's the real problem here? Like, what is it?
So for the record, I interviewed them before they were the Island Boys, before they penned the Island Boys.
What were they before that?
Fly Soldier and Red 4X or whatever the fuck his name
Fly
is.
Soldier and Red 4X.
Yeah, but they were like viral as shit for just arguing with people on Instagram Live and shit. And like, part of me felt like I have a hip hop platform. Like, I can't fuck with these dudes because it's too lame and it's too corny. But then at a certain point, I was like, nah, you know what? It's so lame and so corny that I just have to do it. Like, it's so good. And I interviewed him and it was fucking huge, millions and millions and millions of views. And like, and then, you know, we didn't talk that much after that. They got mad because somebody on my social media team posted a video of them getting booed in the club. They played at Live.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
everybody booed them. They were mad as if it didn't
Why are you
happen.
laughing? Why are you laughing with joy?
It was funny as
Why are you
shit.
laughing with joy, bro?
It was fucking hilarious.
Because Liz is all grown, sexy adults,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got these two dork ass kids with their little tactical vests and shit.
You're getting too much joy out of it. He probably hates whatever they're doing out in the world.
So I did this business podcast
Yeah.
with this dude, Graham Steffen. And he's like the whitest dude you ever met. And he just goes like,
Mac, it's okay. It's okay, bro. It's okay. How many times did
This is
you
the
watch
most
that?
he's ever laughed.
I'm so proud
Like-
to be part of this.
Yo, this is insane. Yo, I've never seen it.
Where we at? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. All right, so this dude
Business podcast.
This dude asked me, are they like geniuses? Like viral geniuses? And I was like, no, they're dummies. You know, basically, it's just what I said. They're retards. Like, they don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And they saw it. Somebody clipped it. They saw it. You know, I figured I was doing the whitest podcast ever, that they weren't going to see it. Which I didn't care that they saw it, but like, in retrospect, like, damn, I could have been a little nicer, you know? But I was really talking like it was just me and you know? Like,
Right.
and they were very upset about it and started threatening me, and I blocked them after a while because it just got kind of ridiculous.
Kind of corny.
Yeah. But I mean, they're like the least, like, I mean, if I was gonna beef with any rappers on earth, it would probably be them.
You would beef with them.
If I had to have murderous street beef with anyone, it would be them. Because they're gonna blow it. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're just not. I don't think so, man.
Oh, God.
All right, Tekashi.
Will you guys ever reconcile?
Me and 6ix9ine or me and the Island Boys?
No,
Yes.
6ix9ine.
Oh,
Because
nah.
y'all, the way y'all came up, not together, but like how you were one of the first people to give him that look on No Jumper, and how you ascended to the heights as well. It was a nice collaboration. So seeing y'all go back and forth, it always feels like it's such a deeper interaction, a deeper beef between y'all because of the personal connectivity between y'all two.
Let me tell you how thirsty 6ix9ine was to get my attention. So I came here back in the day, right, when he was still on Zero. I had some label meetings, whatever, typical New York City tour for somebody out of town, right?
Right.
And so I went back to one of the label dudes' houses, listening to some records and smoking weed or whatever. And there's this one rapper dude I knew who had been hitting me up nonstop. And he was like, just this like wannabe rapper dude or whatever. And I'm still kind of like really early in the game. So I'm like still kind of having conversations with random ass people in the DMs and shit. And he's like, yo, I got these 2 bitches who want to fuck you. And I'm like, okay. Like, come slide. You know, like,
Slide through.
sounds like a terrible idea now. I would never do anything. Because, you know, just the danger element of it, you know?
It's not, it's the setup.
And so he shows up and he got this goofy ass dude with bad skin and green hair, right? And it's 6ix9ine, but I never even heard of 6ix9ine at this point because this is like 2015, early 2016 or some shit like that. And so we go back to the hotel and I fuck these girls. And and 6ix9ine's kind of like, the dude that I met up with, he got so drunk that he was puking in the toilet while I was hitting the girls, right?
So 6ix9ine is in the room while you smashing the 2 joints?
But he's kind of like attending to his homie who's puking.
But
then he's kind of like
Like
peering out
peeking?
and like peeping me fucking these girls, right?
Right.
And it's awkward. But there's a
clearly.
there's a vlog from this night if you want to see this happen. It's called, I titled it "Oh What a Night" for the record, and it has like 2 million views now because so many people figured out that this is what happened in this video, right?
Right.
And so after that, you know, he's got my math and everything, and he's just hitting me over and over. He's trying to do the interview because at that time, like, if you were an up and coming SoundCloud rapper, like now, I could think of a bunch of different platforms that you could go on to get some attention.
Right.
But it was really like No Jumper was the only one that was doing the type of rapper that he was. Like I was telling you about being over there with Duke and Hell Rel.
Right.
I remember Hell Rel, it must have been the same trip. I remember Hell Rel saying, what's some shit you like? What's some cool shit that you be listening to? And I put on the 6ix9ine and Trippie Redd song because it was popping off, and that's what made me want to interview him was that song. And I just remember Hell Rel looking at it with disgust, like, what the fuck is this? And then
Shout out to Hell Rel.
yeah, and then I did the interview.
Yeah.
And it was big. But there was one time where I seen him after that, and it was right after the shit came out about him and the girl, the little girl, the 13-year-old or whatever, which, to be totally fair, I felt like he kind of got like a crazy rap for that when realistically it sounds like he showed up to a video shoot and there was a girl there naked and he didn't know how old she was and they had her in some video or some shit, which, you know, it's not cool no matter how it happened, but it's like,
it's not cool.
It didn't really like actually seem that predatory to me once I looked into it, but I seen him like, I swear it was like the day that came out. And you know, like he's a smart guy. Like he could pick up my vibe, and you know, I shake his hand. I just see him at like a random store down the street from my store, and we shake hands, and I'm just like, "How you doing?" Rah, rah. And I was quick with the conversation, and I think he picked up on the vibe that I was like very skeptical of him at that moment, and we never talked again after that. Besides me talking shit about him and him responding, but you know, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I really think he's just like a fundamentally bad guy. And I think that it's such bullshit when people are like, well, he's not a street dude, so him telling us whatever. It's like, bro, you don't need to be a fucking street dude. You know? Like, if we all have guns on us right now and the cops come in and I'm like, nah, he got a gun. I'm not in a gang or nothing, but I'm a bad person if I put it on you. And in particular, if it's like, put it on him so you don't have to take it yourself.
Right.
I mean, like, you don't need to be a fucking Crip to be able to do that math that makes him a scumbag, and especially when the consequences are like, no, these dudes went to jail for 15 years. And I see it so much closer too, because like I really think that he made up the thing about Shotty fucking Sarah from the ground up. I think he just made that up, because I don't think they did that. I don't really like see Sarah really wanting to fuck Shotty so bad that she would cheat on her fucking superstar rapper baby daddy to fuck with this dude. I don't really see him necessarily. Like, I don't know. And we don't necessarily do anything, but I know her. I think she's a pretty good person. I don't think she did that.
Let's put it this way. She knows her man, and she knows the men that her man is around. Which one would you be more attracted
But
to?
I don't think...
That's her take.
I also don't think Shotty, as much of as a fucked up dude he may or may not have been, I don't really see him fucking up his like sole opportunity to get some pussy with a girl who don't look that different than 5 million other girls around here, right?
I personally don't know, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, people do dumb shit, torpedo their whole life to get pussy, for sure.
You still make a good point. Like, I hear where you're coming from.
But he denies it so hard. I feel like I'm a pretty good judge when somebody's lying.
Shotty
denies it and she denies it. So I just use that as an example to say that I think that that's a lie that he made up from the ground up, because that's the only thing that he says when people give him a hard time about snitching. You wouldn't snitch if dudes was fucking your baby mama. That's like the only thing he brings up, because that's the best route, and people kind of latch onto it because it's a very relatable scenario. I
Yeah, but they
guess.
forget that he actually committed crimes.
Crimes,
When you're putting
yeah.
hits
Hits
on
on
people,
people.
you're a gangster. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a criminal. That's criminal shit. I hate when they. The scapegoat I hate is he wasn't really a criminal. He wasn't really a street life. He
Right.
wasn't. I don't care if you're a 9 to 5 L7 accountant. The second you put a hit on somebody and you have the money to make, and it's not a joke, I got a 30 pack. The second that happens, criminal. That is criminal activity. Like there's no getting around that. I don't care who you are, what your resume says. That's some criminal shit.
Personally, I think there was a lot of mistakes made in that situation. And if you really about that life, and I think, some people, they look for a come up so much that you kind of compromise your own morality by the people you associate yourself with.
We all see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's
How do you
definitely-
avoid?
That's definitely what it was. Those, if you just listen to the story and the narrative, those guys were starving. They were hungry. They had an opportunity with the young boy he was already in the music, he was already doing his thing. They got an opportunity to deal with him, give him a little back, and they was looking to get themselves out of their situation. And it was an unfortunate thing.
How do you deal with that? Math that was an excellent. You compromise your own integrity, your own morality. That's a thin line that you're on between the people that you have, the people you interview.
When you're sleeping on the floor, it ain't much integrity.
He's not on the floor.
No, but he's saying when you're sleeping on the floor.
He's got multiple floors in his house. He's not on the floor.
It's a different type of floor.
Yeah,
Right.
He's on the top floor.
Like the floor he could sleep on.
No, his thing is
So
different.
my point, my question is, there's everybody in here has done an interview. Everybody in here has avoided certain interviews because it would fuck with our moral compass for whatever reason. I've had a conversation with him. I know I've definitely done it. Avoid it. Dude could be popping. He's top tier. Nope. Not gonna do it because I know for a fact this other. How do you circumvent that with a platform like yours and an attitude that you don't care who's judging? How do you make those two mix where you keep your moral compass going?
I mean, it's two things where, number one, I'm not opposed to interviewing snitches and lowlifes and pieces of shit because
Well, all right.
I'm not looking at my podcast as a cosign of like, this guy's a good guy.
Right.
Like I see Vlad interview snitches and I'm like, why wouldn't he? He's not a street person, not a gang member, whatever. And then I see guys like Gilly and Wallow, who I heard about them turning down guests 100% because they snitched. And I respect that because they come from a different background, whatever. So I could definitely see myself interviewing a bad person for sure. But at the same time, like that would only be for me being interested in it because it's not like any interview I do moves the needle for me, really.
Would you interview 6ix9ine again?
I wouldn't interview him because I don't like him and I think he's a bad person and I would much rather be a part of his downfall than his attempt at resuscitating his image, you know?
Well, shit.
I ain't mad.
Shit. I mean, how
I
could
just
you
don't fuck with Cub. He's a fucking weirdo.
Yo, speaking of which, what is your thoughts on this whole Jay Prince and Whack 100?
Wait. I was supposed to ask the question.
I apologize.
I was supposed to ask the question.
Rewind it back.
How far into Whack 100's pocket are you?
Wow.
Because when I heard him say that, I said, oh, yeah? How do you take that?
I saw that, and at first I was kind of pissed because I saw a couple tweets being like, Wax said he's extorting you. And I'm like, what the fuck? So
I'm taller than him.
Immediately, YouTube, Adam22, reverse chronological order, boom. Like, let's hear the Clubhouse conversation.
Yeah.
And all I heard was him talking to fucking Hassan and saying, that's nephew, he in my back pocket, which I understand how that phrasing is a little.
Yeah.
That does sound a little
my
weird.
back pocket. Yeah.
But
It's where you keep your wallet.
what he was really saying to Hassan was he
Yeah.
was saying, I could get you an interview with Adam, which to be honest, he could have because I would have interviewed Hassan for the same reason you interviewed him. He's a fucking super interesting guy, you know?
Right.
And I never took that in any type of way. Obviously, Wax said a lot of other crazy shit in the course of those phone calls, but Nah, like, because Wack always brings this up whenever anybody brings that up, where he says, like, he has brought me multiple artists and said, Adam, this is a guy that I'm managing, will you interview him? And I was just like, nah, I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's big enough yet. Maybe one of my guys who does podcasts on the channel can interview him.
Right.
And, you know, like, sometimes he's brought me other stuff and we did it, you know, it's like, realistically, I say no to, like, I've said no to doing interviews to, like, the scariest people in rap. Realistically, like the craziest.
Who's the top 3?
I'm gonna just whack, and whack.
Whack.
I'm not throwing anybody else in the mix.
Right.
But I don't feel like I'm doing something offensive or something that somebody would want to do something to me when I say that. Right. Because when I think of someone doing an interview,
but
like,
that's kind of jumping out of the back pocket.
No, I'm not in the pocket. Whatever fucking
you
jean shorts he's rocking, I'm not in them. But
not jean shorts.
Nah, Wack got a healthy jean shorts collection, I'm pretty sure. But nah, I don't know. Like okay, if I was A&R and an artist right now, if I had an artist, who he does his first interview with is a massive decision. And I think that you should do it at the very right moment in your career. You should build up a level of interest in you before you do an interview, and you shouldn't really do an interview until your music is popping to a certain extent. Because people need to be interested in you before you give them an interview. So when I say, no, I don't think he's ready for the interview yet, I feel like I'm doing you a favor because I'm telling you what my opinion is, and presumably you think that I have a decent idea of how an artist's career should go.
Right.
And when I see a new artist and they're on every single platform and they're trash at doing the interviews, I'm just like, bro, this is so stupid. You only get to be new once.
Yeah.
And like, if you are 19 doing every single interview platform, you know, like you're just kind of like closing the curiosity gap for a lot of fans. Like they feel like they figured you out. Like I had one artist who was so mad that I wouldn't interview him, and I never ended up telling him. I should probably tell him, but I was like, I watched his Vlad interview. It was trash. I saw Vlad doing a valiant effort trying to get some answers out of him. The shit sucked. And then his music never took off. So if I wanted to be mean to him and just tell him the truth, that's what I'd probably tell him is like.
Well, you kind of just told him.
Yeah. He don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
I'm sure he does.
If he watches this, he will.
know, it's like, I don't feel like I'm doing you some massive disrespect when I'm like, no, he's not ready for the interview yet. I feel like I'm just kind of giving you some common sense advice, you know?
Have you spoken with Wack since he said that?
Yeah, he called into the live show on Tuesday, fucking talking about the Jay Prince thing, which I don't know whose side to take in that because, like, okay, you know the situation is that there's this video footage of Larry Hoover doing this epic ass interview telling everything, and he did it with this woman, and she's been sitting on it for years. And Jay Prince had a deal, I believe, in place to give her some relatively small amount of money for the footage so that they could use it in this documentary. Somehow, at some point, Wack gets in contact with her and is like, no, that footage is worth way more, and starts basically representing her, negotiating with Jay Prince. And now everybody else in rap seems like they're concerned with being on good terms with Jay Prince, and clearly Wack doesn't give a fuck, which is what makes this whole thing interesting. I don't really know, because I mean, what Wack is doing there is like, if you are Jay Prince and you expect him to do right by you, yeah, that is kind of fucked up, you know? Like if I fucking contact your realtor and I'm like, no, he could charge him more for that house. Like that's fucked up, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, but Wack, like what is Wack's allegiance to Jay Prince? Like, it sounds like he's kind of just representing the chick on a, I don't know, if everything's on the up and up, I guess I could see the side of it, but I mean, obviously that's him drawing a line in the sand and saying like, no, I don't fuck with you. Like, you're gonna have beef with me forever now. I probably wouldn't wanna press that button with Jay Prince. Right. But I mean, if he wants to smoke, hey, more power to him.
That's kind of alarming.
In what capacity?
Because these things are public. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, do you believe it or do you not believe it?
Believe what exactly?
Like
The whole scenario, the whole story.
Like, how does this play out? They're doing interviews, but it's supposed to be a problem.
Well,
you dig what I'm saying?
It's only going to be a problem when both parties collide.
But they could probably never, ever meet again.
We know how Jay Prince moves. We know how Wack.
See, I don't want to put. If we're gonna talk like that,
we're not
then
gonna
it
talk
shouldn't
like that.
be
Because I got in
public.
trouble for how.
You dig what I'm saying?
That whole.
Like, if I got a problem with somebody, I'm not talking about them.
Listen.
You feel what I'm saying?
Listen.
Like it's just I don't know what's cap anymore.
No. I'll tell you.
It's hard to tell because I can't imagine that these people that's been in the streets for so long could be that naive to think that if we publicly beef and something happens to this person, where do you think they're gonna look?
Attention is the new currency, though.
I feel you, but
Attention
you know,
is the
some
new
people
currency.
don't give a fuck. Some
Attention
people,
is the new currency.
Some people are still about that life, and they're hardwired to still talk that talk, knowing that there's a lot of energy on them.
Math, how much beef happens over money?
A lot of it.
A lot.
Money,
Right?
women,
No.
disrespect.
Over women.
No.
More
stay-
beef
no.
happens over women,
But
bro.
stay where we are. How much beef happens over money?
A lot.
Right. If attention is the new money, how can you be shocked when people are beefing for attention?
But I think Whack is probably more motivated by money.
Money
In this
equals,
specific
if
case.
you certain people, because there are certain people who have the ability to turn attention into money. Not everybody can, but there are certain people high up enough where all attention equals cash. I believe the people we're discussing are in that boat.
But let's say that like Whack thinks that that lady could get $1 million for that footage instead of 20,000, and let's say Whack's gonna get 20%. I mean, $200,000 worth of attention is a lot of fucking attention. Like, I think Whack would be probably motivated by like making $100 grand or $200 grand, a lot more than. But and I mean, because I mean, I'm not. Maybe he believes the shit he says about managing 6ix9ine. I mean,
Well,
I can't think of a reason he's managing 6ix9ine besides money, right? Maybe it's attention,
that's-
maybe
it's
clout
kinda
a little bit, but
did you
mostly
notice
money,
it's kind
right?
of similar? Like 6ix9ine was doing the same shit,
Exactly.
and now you see,
He learned it.
But there's all this, everything we're talking about still centers from attention. You can raise the price because of the attention you put on the situation. If I shine a big ass spotlight on this thing happening, I look like the good guy because I came out of nowhere and rescued this woman and got her all this money.
But I don't know if Whack even made it public, because I feel like Jay Prince made it public, because to Whack, he would probably be just as fine negotiating in private, because they could also just stall him out and be like, okay, the documentary's not happening. We're not giving you the footage. Boom. That doesn't have to be public.
I'm pretty sure the overall scheme with most things that I've seen come from that specific space is all public. It never stays quiet.
so is this the new promotion? Is this the new marketing?
You think they're coming together to boost up the storyline so a bigger network can say, hey guys, we seen this on No Jumper. We seen y'all talking about it on My Expert Opinion. What is this?
Because it's getting deeper than that. Now you got Whack 100 posting paperwork saying that his son snitched and all types of, or insinuating. I can't say that he put the actual words snitch. I'm not 100% on that. But insinuating that, his son is on papers.
He just got away with saying he extorting half the industry.
Then there's that.
The
Is
problem
this
is,
the new marketing? You know this guy. I don't.
But if any of that shit is true about him holding shit over people's head for money, I mean, I don't really think it's a clout thing. I think it's a money thing. And I think Whack is one of the few dudes left in the game who is like, no, fuck you. I don't care about your respect or getting along with you. If I see an opportunity to get a bag, I'm just gonna go for it on some real old school shit. Whereas everybody nowadays wants to get along.
Right.
He seems like he has a real capacity for doing things that he knows will piss people off just because he stands to gain from it. And I mean,
Remember the integrity thing we talked about earlier? As far as like where's your moral compass?
Right.
What wouldn't you do past a certain point? I
Right.
think that's why most people have an issue with the things they see from him.
Yeah.
Is because morally, the codes you say that you enforce or the things you say that you're about, the antithesis of what you're doing, it seems to be the antithesis of what you're doing for money.
but like with the 6ix9ine shit, if he can make that make sense in his head and he feels like he's still giving out a coherent idea of who he is, I mean, hey, I don't personally really judge him for that, but I know there's definitely people in the streets who judge him for that more than me. But I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta make it.
I'm not judging. This is just an observation. This is just what I'm seeing. Like, whatever you do, whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote, knock yourself out. I'm just observationally, when people say why they have an issue with him, I see where it comes from.
I'm gonna say this. I got a call from someone in Kanye's camp. Shout out to that person. You know who you are. When I sat with Hassan talked about the whole Whack 100 and extorting Kanye with the tape from Kim and da-da-da, da-da-da. This person called me to rectify it, saying that Game and Kanye have always been cool, regardless to whatever, and that wasn't the situation. But the perception of it is 1 minute, you're talking about you got a tape that you'll only sell to Kanye, and the next thing is Kanye in the studio with Game.
Releasing a single with Game like 2 weeks after his album came out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I still am like looking at that situation like, yeah, I don't know.
So now people are feeling like, yo, what's really going on here? Now, Game is a great artist, but you associated with this guy that people are starting to feel like he's not a good guy. He's not doing the right thing out here. He's not about the culture, he's about the bag. And that, you know, if you're about the bag, that's cool. But now you're tied to other people that people are starting to look at funny because that's your man's.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
I've heard it said, but I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that was an extortion situation?
I mean, for me as a person sitting on the couch, it all seems quite convenient, and it seems like a series of events that it's hard for me to imagine why it happened in another way.
Right.
But I mean, you know, I feel like the extortion thing, it's so often there's like an alternate explanation where the same series of events is just kind of being misrepresented to the public a little bit. Like, I don't know. I mean, could it be? I don't know.
You know what extortion is, though?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe explain it, you know, from your culture. Maybe it's a disconnect on what extortion
Extortion
actually is.
as in like, you know, getting someone to do you a favor or give you something in exchange for you doing something for them or not doing something for them, you know?
So
like,
does it have to be something that, like someone extorting you, does it have to be aggressive?
no. And in fact, I think it's probably better done in a friendly
Exactly.
manner.
So they actually act like your friend, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just getting back, in our community, if someone says that in his back pocket, he didn't say that you were in his back pocket. So just rewind that, he said he was in your back pocket. In our community, that's extortion for sure. Somebody's in my pocket, that means he's in my pocket.
Right.
Then you said that, because he probably thought he could get Hassan on the show. That's still a form of extortion, you know? If he's saying that he got connection with you where he could get, you know, put Hassan on the show, he's saying, I have
He's gonna do
Adam
what I tell him, basically.
under my wing,
But-
he do what I tell him to do.
But Wack can give you all these other examples of artists who he stands to financially benefit from more than Hassan, who I've told him, nah, I don't think they're ready. You know? So it's
Right.
like, the Hassan thing, when he said that, I took it as Adam would want to interview you and I can line it up. Because in that call, which I thought was kind of crazy, Hassan is like, nah, no jumper, they're big. Like, they ain't gonna fuck with me. And I'm like, what? Like, bro, you're like an actual popping ass YouTuber. You see how crazy that episode of
Right.
6ix9ine and shit. And that was after that too.
Right.
Like, I was like, when I heard him say that, I was going through the moment of like watching all his fucking videos on his channel and just being like, yo, this dude is crazy.
No, he is.
So, I mean, the question is, because Wack is not, I never gave Wack $1. I talked to Wack on some chill shit. Wack honestly called me the other day and just had like the most pleasant fucking conversation I ever had with anybody. Of just like, I just want to tell you I respect everything you're building. I love what you're doing for LA. And you know, I got mad love for you and just thank you for everything.
Yo, listen, Hassan was like this. What? No jumper? That's crazy. They're big. Yo, shout out to
Is there any interview you regret doing because it went left, or you just was a waste of time? Or an artist that really let you down, they didn't live up to the expectation of what you thought it was gonna be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Blac Chyna, that shit sucked. She walked out on me. It took about 18 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
She just wouldn't give me nothing. She wanted to talk about her music career. I'm like, what the fuck? No,
I mean,
we talk
what's
about all
so
these
wrong
lit
with
rappers
that?
you bang. No, but I tried to like really do like a real conversation with
Right.
her, and she just wasn't having it. She was so evil and mean and weird. But the cool shit about that was that Amber Rose hit me like right after because she hates her and like was like, hey, I want to do an interview. Boom. Got a fire interview with her in.
Amber Rose.
So I was hyped on that.
Oh, wow.
I heard she's amazing.
When one door opens, closes, and the other door.
Amber Rose got the...
Yo, I know, like it's amazing. I heard, yo, like amazing.
His hands are
Shout out
Amber.
It's a spectacle.
Would you have shot something with Amber Rose or Blac Chyna if the opportunity, if the numbers were?
Oh, man, bleep this guy, man.
What? This is what he do?
You can't do that, bro.
What?
You can't sexually preposition other people. You can't do that.
If they want to enter the porn game, yes, I will happily glide them in there. But I feel like they probably don't need me, man. They don't need me. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we're gonna take a short break.
Yeah. That he got robbed by 3 military-grade dudes with machine guns. They had me in the office writing paperwork for months. And people really believe that right there. Mex from Queens. He said it happened right there where the LIRR is.
Parsons and
Yes.
Hillside and
Yeah.
Hillside. Fuck.
Jamaica and Archer.
Yeah, I know where the Long Island Railroad is.
Yeah, and you know where
That's
the
next stop.
courthouses.
What?
Yeah.
Sutton Boulevard.
No, I was picking him up, and then he was late. And I said, yo, bro, we gotta go. He's like, yo, wait for me. I gotta go get some
We
chicken.
running this? It's good? Good.
So he's like, I gotta go get some chicken. I said, all right, cool. So I called my supervisor. I said, yo, we out. This guy went to Popeyes. I ain't got time to wait for him. Boom, left. They said, yo, you can't leave, dude. Like, that's not against protocol. I said, I follow protocol. It's whatever. He said, it's gonna bounce back on us. Like a week later, they pulled me in the office. They said, yo, you watched a robbery happen? I said, what do you mean? They said, this guy said you watched 3 men with 3 machine guns come in and steal his fake leg and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, I believe that shit? I said,
On
"You ever-"
Sutton Boulevard.
That's what I said.
3
I
niggas
said,
with machine guns stole a fake leg.
I said, that's the second busiest area in Queens. And no one saw this?
They got machine guns, and what they chose to take was a fake leg.
Now, I said the same
How
thing.
much those go for?
No, 5,000.
Not
eBay.
enough.
3
Like
to
the cost
5,000.
of one of the guns, maybe.
Yeah.
But first of all, you need 3 machine guns.
Exactly. Like,
That's what I said. I was
nigga
in the
with a
meeting.
fake
I
leg.
said,
that's what you took?
yo, they believed it. I was there.
Nah, they ain't believe that
Dead
shit.
ass.
They just wanted you out of there, bro.
Oh, no,
That's it. They just wanted
No,
you
what
gone.
they did, they sent me the, every month they would send me the sensitivity training because they couldn't fire me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're like, damn, this guy.
Oh, you was in the
sensitive-
union or something.
You in sensitivity training makes all the sense of the
Yo,
world.
at the time, people didn't even believe I had the job. I would take 2 months off, no call, no show, run around, go on tours, come back. SO was like, how are you keeping this shit?
Well, since we on the topic of crazy shit,
Sir. Adam
He looked
22.
up.
Gotta stop texting.
what's up with Crip Mac, man? What's up with that guy? I fuck with Crip Mac though. I fuck with him, but like, what's up with him, bro?
The whole room started giggling when you said that.
Shit.
I mean, I seen a video of him, like a YouTube short with like 300, 400,000 views at one point of him just banging his set and saying all the shit that he says.
Yeah.
And I was just like that interview, honestly, the first one I did more than anything, I just wanted to meet him. I was like, I gotta see if this guy's actually like this, you know? And he came in and he was, I mean, he pretty much just is like that. Like he kind of is a different version of himself every time he comes in, I feel like.
Right.
And I think he has schizophrenia or something. So like, and I also feel like it's like different levels of drunkenness or highness or whatever. Like I've seen him high as fuck where he's kind of weird and like sometimes he's drunk and just having like such a great time and shit. So I mean, there's a lot of different versions of him, but I mean, I think he's a great guy. I mean, it sucks seeing what happened to him because he's pretty much just getting taken advantage of left and right by everybody who claims that they're trying to help him out. But you know, I don't know. He's about to go sit down for like a year, he said.
A year? For what?
A gun.
Oh, shit.
That'll do it.
He's not a person who should be without a gun, realistically.
Wow.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I'm like,
I guess you're pro NRA.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just for him, I mean, okay, his probation or whatever said he couldn't leave LA. Because realistically, I mean, he could move to fucking Vegas or Kansas or some shit and probably never have to deal with any of the gang shit. But in LA, yeah, he's a controversial guy, and there's a lot of people who probably would like to.
What's LA like now? Because I know, like, with this RICO thing that's going on with all the gang sets, I battled somebody out there that was a part of a set, and I did some research on him. I like to be factual when I battle. So, like, if I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say something that you could look up and be like, oh shit, this shit is real. So I looked I got his rap sheet. I got some, some info here and there. But when I got the information, they were like, yo, stop asking about this guy because he's on that list. And I'm like, what list? And it was like the terrorist list. That's what they consider gang members now. So there's a Clean Neighborhood Act where they're kind of like moving in on all these gang-related rappers or whatever because these guys are considered terrorists at this point. And to be honest, you can kind of like make sense of it. When you think about Larry Hoover and what he went down for, it makes
it's not
it's not far-fetched.
The guidelines of what's considered a terrorist.
I mean, we've been dealing with that when George Bush declared urban terrorists. When he declared urban terrorists, he was talking about the inner city people. He was talking about,
Right. Yeah. So what's it like in LA now? Like,
I mean, I didn't even know about all that, so that sounds crazy. But
I broke this whole shit down in the battle with Geechee Gotti.
Okay, right, yeah, because I went to the that like Drake birthday battle. That was the first battle I ever went to, and it was like all Crips, all Crip on Crip bars. So that was pretty wild. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, shit definitely just goes down all the time. You hear about crazy ass gang related shit going down. I mean, it's definitely, I think, less than it was at a certain point in history. And like when I've gone to like different projects in LA, like I always kind of ask that, like, what, compare this to like 1995, compare this to 2010, et cetera. And like, they always kind of act like shit has cooled down a lot. Cause like in the actual neighborhoods, they'll have hella cameras. So much easier to track somebody's license plate or whatever. So I mean, knowing that, it's kind of crazy to imagine how shit must have been going down back in the day.
Without it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, dudes are definitely, I mean, it's the most gang-oriented fucking city on earth. I mean, it's like, it's such a inseparable part from it. But like with the YSL RICO, that kind of made me start thinking like, okay, well, how many people in LA have a street thing that pretty much has the same name as their official thing. Right. And they're just banging their gang, but it's also their LLC. Right. And how long is it, like seeing how they put the whole Young Thug thing together, it's like, well, why couldn't they do that to a lot of people in rap?
They probably have.
Maybe we find out.
We're just waiting on the rollout.
The Young Thug thing, they had shit from like 10 years ago in it.
Yeah.
They had group text conversations from him in 2015. I was like, wow.
Hence the rollout.
Yeah, it's the rollout.
It's the rollout.
You know when boys don't come unless they know they got you.
But the federal government, they can indict you and you could be indicted for 5 years without them actually picking you up. So that's 5 years that they get to follow you, keep information on you, build a case. 5 years. And you could already be indicted.
And you walking around chilling.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. The feds you could be walking around with a federal indictment and they could keep the indictment on you for 5 years without picking you up.
And you wouldn't even know.
Most of the informants, and this is what people don't understand, most informants, that's what is going on. They have already been, maybe some informants get picked up and get put right back out in the system.
And they get paid too, right?
Well, that's a whole different system. Like, but yeah, they have paid informants, yeah. But usually the informants they pick up is trying to get out of their case.
Out of this situation. That makes sense.
The
That's
situation
their
that they in.
Right.
Now, once you get out that situation, the feds, you work for them forever. At that point.
Yeah.
And yes, then they have a system where they could put you on the payroll and you get paid, and you give them the information that have nothing to do with your original.
That's why at this point, when you see like 6ix9ine starting issues with people, you gotta wonder, is this a setup?
Yeah.
Wonder.
You don't even have to wonder.
Yeah, like assume the worst, bro.
Yeah.
Just steer clear at this point. I don't
It's
even know
kind
why
of
you would-
amazing that he feels the confidence to be able to talk all crazy and shit, knowing that, like, I mean, I assume he has to check in, right? Like he has his federal connects. They probably hit him up.
Yeah.
He probably texts him.
They're probably giving him. They're probably giving him paperwork.
Yo, you are one of the illest snipers.
Yeah,
Just saying, like, you think about it, like.
They probably do.
I think he has to do whatever they tell him, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
I think it could be a continuous process. Like, one of the things I thought was so funny is when he had those little boogers from fucking Bushwick with him on the academics thing.
I can't let you call them boogers.
All right, I'm sure
Can't
they're
let
great
you call
guys.
them
I'm sure
boogers.
they're the hardest dudes in the world, right? But they're like, when they're trying to get them to justify why they're kicking it with him, they're like, what kind of man would I be if I walked away from this money that's gonna feed my family? It's like they kept saying that.
That would literally make you a man.
But they didn't really
Like,
say.
if you found another way.
But they didn't
Remember what we
really
said
say.
about moral integrity.
Yeah.
They didn't say we're fucking with him because we're just fucking with him. They said no, we're fucking with him because there's bread involved.
Yeah, I don't think
That's the whole thing. How did 6ix9ine not tell them not to say that? That's the whole thing you're supposed to be hiding.
What?
But why?
How can he tell them what to do? Period.
I mean,
At
if you're
this
gonna
point-
hire an actor, they're supposed to read their lines.
Yo,
I mean,
Yeah, but
no wonder you make $1 million a month. You good at this motherfucking thing, yo.
I'm not saying that the entirety of their street shit is acting at all, but them acting like they respect 6ix9ine, I mean that.
Unless the actor owns the studio,
Yeah.
then he pretty much says what he wants.
Right.
If you work for me,
Work for hire?
Yeah. More power to him.
Yeah, he didn't even flinch when he said, "This the only rap that we jacking." You heard? Like
Yeah,
he didn't
that
even.
was funny.
But
Like,
you ain't
he's-
seen them together, right, since then, or at least not like well publicized. I feel like that was kind of when he was like, "I'm not putting out another song. Fuck this."
It doesn't. It's crazy, but a lot of people are fucked up out here, man.
In what capacity?
All right, and it's in the same way where, like, when I was fucked up, and I would bust certain moves that morally I know is wrong, and now like I'll stay clear of that shit completely, cause there's other ways to do shit. But in those moments, I was compromised by my situation. I think those guys, just like a lot of people out here who do strange things for change, are compromised by this situation.
Absolutely. Just like Shotty and them, they just, new young guys that is
They
in the
saw the
same
money.
situation that those guys were
They
in.
saw the money,
Some of
And-
them are
and listen-
artists.
and they didn't. Yeah,
They thinking that if they connect with him, maybe they could get popping with their rap thing. It's the same
I mean,
situation.
let's keep this honest. People don't understand the level of cheating 6ix9ine had behind him. Other than 50 Cent, he had literally the biggest budget in hip hop history. Like the level of cheating he had. There's a lot of beef that got squashed because they thought it was street shit. No, he had enough power to stop their records from being played. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
I had a meeting about that because he stifled an artist's music based on an interview we did. And he didn't even know it. It's just whoever he was signed to, his pops is like, "Yo, Dad, this guy's fucking up my artist's music. All right, well, that's why he laughing. He know. We'll slow down your music budget."
I mean, I don't know like specifically, but do I doubt it? No, bro. Not really.
yeah.
Like the power he had, I don't even think he realized. Anybody that beefed with him, watch their record sales. It went down if they were all tied into the same label. Ebro spoke about it. You know who I'm talking about, right, Mech?
yeah, but that's not new. Like there's
But
always
who
been
y'all
somebody who
talking
can.
Elliot and Lucian. Oh. No. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, how do you keep yourself detached from all this street shit? It's a question I've been trying to ask you for like the
Yeah,
last
because I
couple
know
minutes.
sometimes I get a call.
About me?
No, not just like somebody who came on the show. They said something
Right.
that affects somebody else's career, and they'll call me and be like, "Yo, what's up with that?" Da 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 da.
I've been getting those calls my whole career. Like my whole career, but pre-internet, I get those calls.
How do you stay?
Is what?
Because you're black, you get those calls.
Can
What do
he
you mean?
answer?
Yeah, because right.
Can he answer? I'd like to know what he thinks it is.
I mean, let's not act like I haven't had close calls. I mean, there's been plenty of times that motherfuckers were mad at me, and from both the like actual like hard street dudes to the weird ass fucking psychopath fan type kids who can't get a DM back. You know, I mean, motherfuckers definitely get mad, but you just gotta handle your shit and just you know, try to move correctly. Because I mean, I don't like when I really look at my entire time talking about LA gang shit. I can't really think of any times of significance when I really pissed anyone off, you know? And I think that's why I like go to people's hoods just to like film shit and like it's all good. And I mean, I do when I go into those situations, I handle it the right way, but I don't know. I mean, my biggest rule is I try to like, we could cover shit, but I'm not gonna use this platform as like a platform for you to propagate like hate towards another gang. That's one thing that we ran into with Crip Mac, where sometimes the shit that he would say, like he said some shit on live dissing another hood that he don't like, that was over the line for us, where it's like you can't be using the special names for different hoods or different gangs that they're not supposed to say, that it's like, you know, like that's over the line to me. Or like, you know, even if you were smoking on somebody's homies or whatever, if you start saying shit like that, like we're gonna edit it out, or we're like and it's not like I definitely heard somebody fucking from the Bronx smoking on somebody that I didn't know that's what they were talking about, and then I watched it like a year later and I'm like, we could have definitely edited that out. But you know, I mean, you just got to be smart and move strategic and have the right people respect you. Obviously that's not, I mean, Nipsey Hussle got killed by a fucking weirdo who, maybe I shouldn't even say that. Nipsey Hussle got killed by someone who realistically wasn't shit in their hood, and he is like the king of their hood. And I mean, that tells you all you need to know. Like a fucking king could get killed by a peon and it just happens. So you just move around right and try to handle your shit right.
Even saying shit like that, for most people doing interviews, even talking that way could lead to repercussions. Like some phone calls would come from calling somebody a peon and X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. Like, and you say those things with no filter.
Well, I mean, he's rotting in prison. Like, you know, I feel like if there's anyone I'm gonna call a peon, I'm gonna throw it on him. Because realistically, who the fuck was he? But nah, like, I mean, I know people who know him and stuff, so that's why I didn't want to say the weirdo thing, because that is kind of a special term in LA. But, you know, he wasn't some factor. He wasn't Nipsey. He was like, you know, 1/10,000th of a Nipsey in terms of clout and notoriety or whatever the fuck you want to judge somebody based on. So.
Not just him though. I just mean in general. Like I've watched your shit. I see, and even when you're talking to other people, like not even doing an interview, but when somebody's talking to you, you speak with a freedom on some journalistic shit that it's borderline reckless from time to time. If just a touch. And I wonder if you're aware that you're doing it, or is it just?
I don't think I bite off anything I can't chew.
Fair enough.
One thing I will say, every time I see on your platform, there's a nice engagement of energy, pushback. And I'm like, why is this always happening? Is it because he's white and they feel he's safe? Is it because they're catching
do you get that Vlad shit, man?
Yeah.
Niggas be
Because they
like,
come with a lot
man.
of aggression towards you.
Who? Once in a while.
Yeah,
all right.
It happens more than normal.
Let's get to the question. Are you an agent?
A federal agent? No. I work on a state level. No. No, I've had a shockingly little police contact in my life. Like I can almost like remember every time I talked to a cop. It was like a lot when I was riding bikes. They'd always be telling you to get the fuck out of somewhere. But then as an adult, like when I had the store downtown, there was one time that a cop stopped by and talked to me for like 20 minutes and put me on hella game about what the fuck was going on downtown with all the crackheads and shit. On Melrose, I don't think I ever talked to a cop until that one fool ran in there and tried to blam me, and we beat the shit out of him, and we had to call the cops for them to drag his body out of there.
Wow.
And
What was that like?
It was cool, honestly. I mean, it was a fake gun. So
He said it was cool.
it was a fake gun, so it was like a pretty big
No, I
relief.
mean, like, break down the situation.
I mean, I'm in the back of my shop doing a live stream, middle of the night. We ordered Postmates. The dude who's carrying the burner at this time is in the process of like putting the Postmates down, so his back is like turned towards the door, and the door is kind of open, and this kid had been hiding in the alley with like a mask on. Or did he have a mask? I can't remember. But yeah, he had something on his face. And then he had like a gun, and he runs towards me, which is only like from here to the door. And he's just like, give me all your money. And I'm like waving my fucking hands in front of me and shit. And like, it was weird because like as he's coming towards me, the guy's already got the blower pointed at his head. So I'm like just seeing these two guns coming towards me. And then like, I don't know, they just jumped on, like the dude didn't shoot him, which was weird. And then, but then they fucking jumped on him, knocked him out.
And the gun was fake.
And the gun was fake, which was weird, because even when the dude didn't shoot him, he said that he thought the gun was fake right away, which, I mean, to me, I would have preferred that he still shot him, but, I mean, it's like, it looked weird. It had like tape, or like, it just looked like multicolor and shit, because like, honestly, the guy who had the gun at the time, like he had the same impression I had, which was that it seemed so weird that it almost felt like a prank. Mm-hmm. That's what was going through my head. Is like, is this a joke? And also like at the same time, like, should I be terrified right now? Like, but it kind of felt like a joke. So then when we found out the gun was fake, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess it was kind of a joke.
Did you get a nice little kick in there?
Honestly, I just went and ate the food, and I didn't even.
That's how you close out a night.
I didn't even. There was like 2 or 3 people.
Did you find out what was he doing there? Like
they
he was set up or?
No, he was like an obsessed fan on drugs or some shit. And like had DM'd me like 1,000,000 times.
Oh, so he was a mental case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is like a very different thing than like a street
extreme.
situation, which
Right.
would be kind of different.
No, the shooter would have shot you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was somebody who was serious,
they wouldn't have wasted any
Right.
time with you.
A lot of things security-wise changed after that. That would probably be the biggest one.
Well, speaking of, a second ago, rest in peace to Nip. You had Cowboy on the show.
Yep.
And he talked about the last moments. What was that like for you?
That was just a heavy fucking interview in general, and like somebody that I'm surprised he hadn't done an interview earlier, because he was part of so much big shit. But I mean, he just told me so much real shit. Like in particular, the stuff that really stood out to me was like the shit about how Nip, even when he was smoking dope, like Nip he would like give him money to like, you know, or like let him sleep on the couch for a couple of days to get clean and shit like that, because he like knew him before anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that was definitely one of the most powerful interviews. And when he told me that he stopped smoking dope because of his kids, that fucking got to me. Like he was really like made it clear, like, no, I love getting fucked up, but I stopped because of my kids. And that just like, I don't know, it just kind of hit me.
Yeah. Damn.
Were you a parent at that time?
Yeah, that was like a month ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
that was like a month ago.
Yeah.
Man, do you believe that there's actually a tape on it?
Nah.
You don't believe it?
Nah, I choose not to believe it. I haven't really thought about it that much, but you know, obviously, even if there was, and if it were to come out, it would be just such a distasteful thing for LA to even have to deal with. You know, I feel like it's like there's just certain things that are just ugly realities. Like I remember Vlad hit me after like when in the 2020 protests type shit, and he just goes, "You know George Floyd had a sex tape, or did porn specifically?" And I go, "Yeah, I saw it, and I'm not posting it." And he goes, "Me neither." And I was just like,
somebody brought that to you?
I mean, it was going around on Twitter. Like I saw a lot of people talking about it, but not that many people in comparison to how crazy that is that George Floyd did a porno. But I just thought that was like an interesting one where me and Vlad both had the automatic reaction of like, we're not talking about it. It's just too distasteful, even if it's true, you know?
Right.
So you do have there is a moral compass in there that'll stop you from, because that probably could have got you a whole bunch of hits if you did something with it.
But I mean, to be fair, I feel like almost nobody posted about it. I didn't even see all these other blogs and shit. I didn't see World Star posting about it. That felt like a weird moment of a culture, not a culture, but it's like a world that is relatively fucking tasteless in what we will consume and talk about,
Right.
where everybody just seemed to like kind of just draw the line right there. Like, all right, we're not going to talk about this. Yeah. It definitely wasn't the time.
You still haven't.
What?
You still
haven't
haven't.
talked about it.
You probably won't.
What?
Yeah.
See?
What's
More
there to
topics.
say about it? I mean, even when I think I saw an interview with one of his family members where they'd said that it was like he was down on his luck, like did it one time and it wasn't like he did it a bunch. Just like needed some bread one time or something.
Yeah, but people who are doing things for, on both sides of that, people who are doing things for money don't necessarily care the reason behind. You know what I mean? If I was so inclined to think that posting this is gonna make me a bunch of money, why he did it when really who cares? You know what I mean? Like who cares?
Right.
I can get a bunch of bread if I post this. That's where the moral compass comes in. That was the discussion we had earlier.
So what is the moral code? What is the code that YouTubers, interviewers, what are the things that we should just leave the fuck alone?
Because porn is on the table.
Yeah, you can talk about porn.
Yeah,
for
porn is
sure.
on the table.
But if it's porn with a person who has recently been the victim of, been murdered by a police officer, and there's a national outrage or like furor going on, yeah, that definitely seemed like one to maybe leave out. I mean, I don't think that we should talk about I don't think we should bring things to the table that can be used to implicate people in crimes. Now, obviously, that's going to be a blurry line because sometimes people are going to come in here and say something that seems pretty fucking innocuous, and then it's going to be, which has happened very little to my knowledge.
Right.
Like Vlad always makes the point of when AR Ab went down, there was like an interview clip they used against him, but it wasn't from a Vlad interview.
Right.
To my
And they
knowledge.
were actually trying to get footage from him.
Yeah.
And he lawyered up and said no.
Have they ever tried to get footage from you?
No.
No.
You have so many interviews, so millions of hits.
And very little that hasn't ran, Like there's a few times here and there that somebody will hit me up and be like, yo, can you take this out before you make it live? But that's not that often. And we do it if it makes sense. I mean, a lot of times it's the dumbest shit ever that they want taken out. They'll like say a famous actress is hot, and then they'll be like, oh, my girl gonna get mad at me. Can you delete that? And I'm like,
Really?
Yeah, that happens a
fuck,
lot.
man.
Who did that?
I can't remember. But you know what? All right, here's one that is probably not going to be the kind of thing that we're going to have to deal with that much. But I remember back in the day, like Gawker.com was like a popular like fucking media news blog or whatever. And they would out people, like famous tech executives and celebrities and shit. They would like out them as gay. And I feel like that looks really bad in retrospect because everybody kind of has realized like, oh, if somebody's gay, like, let's let them do whatever, which I think you see in rap all the time because there's tons of people who are not tons, but there's people who are rumored to be gay in rap.
Right.
And you don't really see people talk about it. And even like the rappers who I know have been accused by like a ton of transvestites of fucking them, it's like people don't really talk about it that much because I think people like at least kind of have a sense of like
what
that
you
should
do,
be
what
left
you
alone.
doing? Yeah, like that's your private
Which
thing.
I think
mean,
that's
I
good.
asked Joe Button if he was bisexual, and he kind of bugged out about it.
Because there was that day where we all thought he was bisexual.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I'm alone on this? Really?
That's Mecca's man.
We were all talking about it in the office, like, damn, Joe?
Yeah, Joe, not Joe.
Who the fuck? What? Like, we're all like,
But he said I was very insensitive. And then he turned around and asked
Isaiah Rashad.
the same question.
Straight up. No filter, no nothing. Just straight up.
What's up with you, Joe?
He's asking the right question. He's asking what people want to know, and he also
That's the
knows
right question to ask?
I saw something.
we're talking about it, ain't we?
So you would ask
Yeah,
that question?
that was just really strange.
No, the fact that we're discussing it means it was the right question.
No, what
Him
happened?
being able to answer it the right way for him when we ask the question is the other side of the coin.
See, what I didn't like is the answer he gave to Math. Now in the same space,
He does the same thing.
you asked Isaiah,
Yeah,
why
no.
is that on the table? If
Because-
you went through that whole tirade with Math to say that shouldn't kind of like be a question to ask.
because Isaiah has spoken openly about it before. It's never been an accusation.
So then he don't need to ask him that question then.
No. He said on the show.
So-
he only did the interview because everybody saw him fucking two dudes.
Right.
Like, of course you got to talk about it. I can
Welcome to
understand
the
him.
life.
I can understand him taking issue with Matt saying it, even though I don't see why that's like a big
Because
deal.
he said it on his show.
Yeah.
To
But,
the public.
I mean, at least it kind of makes sense to give Matt shit about it. Like, why would anyone care if I was bi? Which is like, well, it is an interview. I mean, if you're bi, that's pretty
like, dude,
interesting, right?
You always ask the question. The answer is out of your control.
Right.
You should always ask the question.
He could have said no
Right.
and just stared at you.
Now,
That
he
would've
left it
been kinda
really
funny.
inconspicuous.
Which is A, funnier, and B, gonna go further. Like, if you just say no, then it's just no, and everybody moves on. If you leave it where it
He
is,
said it wasn't my job to yank him out of the country.
that was fucking funny.
Yeah, it was jokes. It was jokes.
That was funny.
Yeah, shout out to Joe. He's
Speaking
strange,
of,
bro. But
doing
he cool.
interviews, like, what does it take to run the note jumper empire? Because I saw somewhere it says you make $1 million a month. What goes into that for people that are trying to reach the heights of success in the world of media and podcast or anything of that level?
I've been doing it for so long that we have a huge fucking backlog of content that's earning us money on a consistent basis. I still make like a couple $1,000 off the XXS Tentacion every month from the XXS Tentacion interview that I did 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, just to put that in comparison, like, damn, like I could fucking
Yeah,
Hey.
the cachet is crazy.
I pay a nice percentage of my mortgage payment with a fucking interview I did 6 years ago. So, I mean, when you've been doing content for that long and you build up this catalog of stuff that can kind of be repurposed and re-uploaded or whatever, and then also I just go insanely hard. Like, I drop more interviews than anybody in rap, I'm pretty sure. I drop 5 podcasts a week, plus I do my weekly podcast, plus we have all these other guys doing podcasts on the network. And then a lot of it, though, honestly, is not like working harder. It's just being smarter. Like, we do a Facebook deal. Like, we almost make more money on Facebook than we make on YouTube. Some months we make more on Facebook. Just because I found the right team who were able to start uploading our shit and just really making bread on there. We started a Patreon at a certain point. At a certain point, I started the Plug Talk thing, which is another huge fucking
Amazing
income
program.
source.
Right.
You know, we do merchandise. We do the No Jumper Patreon. We sell so many goddamn Instagram posts. Oh my God. We do brand deals for different brands. It's not like I have like one thing that just makes this absurd amount of money, but I have a lot of 6-figure income streams coming from all directions. And so, yeah, sometimes it does get
It's
into
immensely
that region.
stressful juggling all of that. Or your team is so.
My team's pretty diesel at this point, honestly, because I would not have been able to get to this point if I didn't have a shitload of people working for me doing great stuff on behalf of the brand. Like, I never have to think about editing a clip. I never have to think about posting an ad on the Instagram. I never have to think about getting the photos ready or getting the podcast edited or getting the ad read done or whatever. Like, all this shit is kind of handled. I basically am like going out of my way to build the business so that I can do nothing but interviews. Now, I don't really think that that's a good thing for me in the long run, because I realize that when I say like, yo, leave my Wednesday clear, I'm working with the team, that we end up getting so much shit done from just me being able to like really work with the team and conversate with them and figure out what they're doing. Because the hardest thing in the world is delegating responsibility. Like, it's easy for me to just be a grinder and just do hella podcasts. Like, I could make a fucking YouTube videos on my channel. I could do whatever. Like, doing all that shit's kind of easy for me. Sitting and watching applications and like picking people and saying, I think this guy could be great on camera, or I think this is the girl who needs to be running our social media or whatever. I mean, finding and discovering talent, I think I'm like good at, but that's the thing that's it's almost hard for me to like do it because I'm so obsessed with just doing podcasts, you know?
Right. Do you get like a backlash when you have the team do an interview and you're not there?
Nah, because like the dudes who do interviews on my platform are so fucking hyped to be doing content. And like, we've had times where artists felt like they were getting dubbed because they got an interview with somebody else on the team instead of me.
Right.
But I mean, like, T-Rel is the main dude who does interviews on our platform. And I feel like his shit is gonna get just as many views as mine is. Realistically, if we had the same guest, it probably wouldn't be that far off. Like, I trust him. And if there's questions I wanna make sure he gets off, I'll fucking send him a text with a bunch of shit, you know? But I mean, that's my goal and that's my real dream, is to just like continuing to like foster talent and just build out this whole world where the people can be fans of the content and just see these characters interacting with each other. Like that's kind of like the ultimate goal, to like build up the content machine so much that, and I already kind of feel like this, where me killing it and dropping 5 podcasts a week is not that consequential to the bottom line. You know? So I already kind of feel like I'm there, but I just want to get further towards that, where we have so many people making shit that me making shit is just like, I guess, you know, if you want to. But
how long was it before you started to delegate?
Man,
or be comfortable with?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys take it over.
I had like one employee for forever, for like 3 years, and then I just kind of slowly like just started trusting people, and it sucks because like who's the first people you're gonna hire is your friends, and then they're gonna let you down, and you're gonna fire them, and then you're gonna have beef, and they're gonna be, and that childlike friendship that you had all of a sudden is gone, which is a very tough lesson to learn that I've learned quite a few times, and but at a certain point, like when you just start finding the right people, but that's what sucks, is you gotta really give people a chance. Like my girl just hired an assistant. This chick is killing it. It's like an assistant made of gold. Like she's just going crazy, like thinking of shit my girl's not even thinking about. And I've been telling my girl forever to hire an assistant, but she had an assistant like 3 years ago.
Yeah, we don't know. It just happened.
She had an assistant 3 years ago who ended up being a total piece of shit and fucking sued her and all this shit, and turned her off to having an assistant, and now she got an assistant that changed everything. And that's the terrible part about hiring somebody, is if you hire the wrong person, it's gonna cost you money, and it's gonna slow your fucking business down, and it could make your other employees less productive. And if you hire somebody who ends up being great, then they could be more valuable than the amount that you're paying them by like 10 or 20 times, you know?
Wow.
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
What do you think
facet.
the direction of content consumption and content distribution is going? Because off camera, Math was out of the room, but Mecca and I were talking to you about how world's starting the blog era, and I know you remember that, and how Instagram cannibalized it and centralized it to the point now people like pay for a blog. I'd rather just be on, like you said, Instagram posts. You get paid for that. Where do you think the next direction or the next shift is gonna go to?
I mean, I think a lot of it is like short form content, you know?
30 seconds,
because
micro.
the TikTok shit, bro, like nowadays, if you want to blow up, it's like you're gonna do it on TikTok and Reels before you do it on a 20-minute YouTube video. Like realistically, most likely. Like a lot of our biggest interviews have basically just been propelled by like a viral TikTok that got 5 million views that turned that into fucking, you know, 1 million views on YouTube or whatever. Like, I feel like that's such a thing. And when I see people start podcasts now, it's like they're talking about it before they even get started. Like, who's gonna be our TikTok editor? Which is smart, because it's like you gotta just make your content accessible as fuck to people, because if you don't, it's really, really hard to stand out. But, you know, it's just way more competitive than it used to be. When I started, it was like, I just had this shit to myself in terms of like these underground type rappers. Like there's just nobody fucking with me at all. And now I got to compete with like, over time, your value that you're bringing to the situation kind of changes, where I still love doing underground rappers, but I don't like hold myself to like, oh, if I don't get all the cool new underground rappers, then I'm a failure, because I would just be driving myself crazy trying to keep up with that.
I think the beauty of what you did with the underground rappers, and usually this is Russian roulette, and Mecca and I have interviewed a lot of up-and-coming artists, you had a great turnover rate of how all of them became successful. If you do 10 underground dudes, minus 20 of them ain't gonna make it. Out of your 10 interviews, like 9 of them became somebody consistently. I used to be like, how the fuck is Adam?
It's a wild streak. It's
a crazy streak.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's unheard of.
Right.
And I was like, this ain't luck.
And I ran the unsigned hype column and ain't had those kind of numbers.
You might need to be in the A&R or something, man. You might
know what I'm
need
saying?
to
Luck and consistency.
step in that direction a little bit.
How were you able to always, was it great timing, great instincts?
How do you pick your artists?
Yeah.
I mean, I just try to like, honestly, like if I think they seem interesting, if I think the music has potential, if I think, you know, it's all opinion. It's all like, you know, I have people I respect coming to me all the time with artists, and they're like, this is my new artist, he's gonna be huge. And I take one look at it, I'm like, never. Like, I would not, I would bet $1 million this guy never goes
who was
platinum.
that? Who was that?
No comment. but I've had that exact experience where I would have bet $1 million that this person's not gonna blow up, and then they blow up. And it's like,
That's happened a lot.
Wow.
I was sitting on fucking live stream playing a Meg Thee Stallion video for a $50 donation. And I'm like, that's cool. Like,
Meanwhile,
And then what happened to it?
so you and Q-Tip were on the same page with Meg Thee Stallion
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. Super early.
But I also wonder, like, when I saw her, maybe she was whack, and maybe she got a lot better after that. Or maybe she was, like, pretty good, and I just missed it because I was fried.
Oh, so they weren't on the same page.
Yeah. We would all like to think it's the first one. Everybody likes to think that you weren't that good when I turned you down. When I deaded you, you definitely weren't as dope as you are now. Fuck out of here.
But that's the thing about signing someone now, is that it's so competitive that the artists who are getting signed by labels are not even dope yet. They're not even good yet. They haven't. They're like, we were gonna sign you because we see a seed of possibility in you that maybe we can amplify. Because a final product is already gonna be swooped up so goddamn fast. If you're actually dope, if you're like a finalized 21 Savage, somebody else is gonna see the vision before you, realistically.
They're basing. From what I've seen, now let me speak for everybody, but from what I've seen sitting in those rooms, they're basing their picks off of numbers.
Yes.
It's not talent. It's not because they saw him perform and it's like, oh my God, this kid's really got something. It's more like, this is what he's doing on SoundCloud, this is what he's doing on Instagram, this is what he's doing on YouTube. Okay, I think there might be something here.
But the smart A&Rs are going to factor in stuff like talent and the live show and how, the best A&Rs
Gotta have
I know.
a smart A&R.
Yeah, the best A&Rs I know are people who can take a wild chance on somebody and just see the potential, But the average A&R is, his Instagram reels get a lot of likes, so let's sign this guy.
By average, you mean like 90%.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I kind of get lucky with A&Rs because I'm just ignoring everyone besides like the few decorated A&Rs that I've dealt with because they actually have poppin' artists, so they come through for the interview and we develop a relationship, which is also, those are smart A&Rs who develop relationships with media people. But I know a lot of really, really good A&Rs who I like look at them and I'm in awe. But also, some of those A&Rs have sat there with me and said, this guy's gonna be huge. And I said, I don't see it. And then I was right, and the guy never went anywhere. It's like, and these are the best A&Rs who have the craziest success rate. I mean, you're still gonna take losses. It's still gambling.
Right, every time.
Right, because you can never account for what's going to happen in someone's life.
Yeah.
Facts.
And sometimes the time change, and when the time change,
Facts.
something that sound hot at that time, the new
Man, ain't that
movement,
no more.
I call it the Carmelo Anthony theory.
In regards?
There was a time when Melo was one of the greatest offensive one-on-one
Absolutely.
players, period. But then the game changed. It became less of a one-on-one game and more of a team game. And just that fast, Melo's skill set was seen as outdated by a lot of people who were now interested in team ball. Never even gave him a chance to really adapt. But that's what happened, like what he's saying. There are styles that were great, fantastic. And then the landscape changes.
I mean, but part of that, you have to be able to identify when the landscape is changing and tweaking. Like the landscape shifted on us 3 times between you and I. We were supposed to be the fuck out of here.
Yeah, facts. Facts. Thank God we have personality. But that
Beyond that, but also understanding, shifting.
and not being stubborn. But you have artists who refuse to change, or they can't. You were really great for this time period, and now that time
And that's
period
why
is
I
over,
asked Adam,
you haven't shifted.
where's the shift gonna come and how content's gonna be distributed? Because something's going to happen where
I think I see it, but I'm not gonna say it. I'll save that for off camera. I
think
think
about
I see where it's
during the
going.
pandemic
we gotta
when they
have
were
that
cutting
talk.
all the YouTube ads. Were you affected by that?
During the pandemic, the YouTube ads started generating less?
Yeah, or I forgot the terminology. It was for the Black content creators from the manosphere. They all were feeling. Oh, you said
They got demonetized a lot
Yeah.
around then? Yeah.
I forgot the terminology. Ah, man.
Not demonetized?
I was going live a lot, so
Oh, you was going hammer.
yeah, every night. Everybody in the crib.
Facts.
I feel like I built up a lot of the core base that watches this show during the pandemic.
I watched so many people not take advantage of that. So many artists decided they didn't want to play themselves, and doing that was.
And
I mean, a lot of artists went into OnlyFans. Tyga, Safari, Casanova. whoever, you know. I mean, it's different when you making all your money going outside. And you know, these artists were making 30 to 40,000 a month going outside, and that's done.
Right.
And you know how they blow
It
through
slowed
money.
up really fast.
That whole thing dried up.
People
can't
started
be-
actually promoting their own merch. That was weird. You see some guy like rappers who I know think they're too cool to promote their own merch and shit, like posting on their story like a couple times in the same week, like cop this merch, and I'm like,
Damn, it's tough
you
out
finally promoted your merch. Shit must be hard. Damn.
hard out here.
Should have been doing it.
I know, like,
Should've
but
been doing
a
it.
lot of rappers are just, you
Too
know,
cool for school.
Why do you think they don't? Why doesn't that happen? Why don't rappers
They're
promote
too
their
cool,
own shit?
man.
That's it,
They're
they're
too
too cool
cool.
for
They
school.
what the posters
But
for.
a lot of rappers are getting too much money doing one thing to really focus on the other things. You know, I've made that mistake in my life. I remember, like, even when I was making when I was making 50 grand a month off YouTube ads back in the day, like 2017, I was making 50 grand a month from just vlogging every day, being at the store, all the crazy shit that would be happening, and I was doing interviews, and my YouTube was up to 50K a month. I'm feeling myself, and then boom, drops by 90%. All of a sudden, I'm 5K a month because of the demonetization shit. It fucked me so bad. But all of a sudden, I hadn't done merch yet because I was like, how much merch I would have to sell to make 50,000, never mind 10,000, you know? Like, I was just like, I'm gonna just put all my effort into this YouTube shit. I started live streaming after that. I started, you know, really just doing more products and shit in general, and like opened up a fuckload of different revenue streams, whereas I was just focused on this one before, and that was such an important realization, because it's like, if you only just focus on the YouTube money, I mean, you're just leaving so much on the table, you know? And the YouTube money's dope for sure, but yeah.
If you can get it.
Yeah.
If you can get it. Thank God you're interesting. Otherwise, that never would have worked out.
Right?
You want to wait another 12 minutes?
For
Apparently, Beyonce's trending. She's either going to drop an album, and she just removed all her pictures on all social media platforms. It's like
Holy
she's
shit.
trending hammer. I know we've been here long. I want to leave just like all of us, but this shit, look at it.
That's what everybody wants to see. They're like, what does Adam and Matt Hoffa think about Beyonce's new drop?
like, what's going on? Unfortunately, we won't even be dropping this footage.
by the time it matters.
You want to know some bugged out shit though?
What?
While we were doing this kid who's got a lot of beef parked in the parking lot to come into the No Jumper studio, and he got pistol whipped outside in the parking lot by some dudes who were looking for him.
Okay.
Wow. And I got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but trust me, I'm getting a lot of texts right now.
Carmen knows how to collect the rent on time.
Listen. Last words?
Shout out to Viper Records.
Demo.
Nah, Viper Records. The whole shout out to the whole team. No, I don't want to keep singling out one person because there's so much.
Oh, somebody called your phone.
There's some. Well, somebody's always calling my phone. But
Demo caught the look on the last episode.
There's so much. No, there's so much good talent. I feel bad only talking about one person. So shout out to Viper Records in general. They're
Shout
doing
out
their
to
thing. Shit is
Tech,
dope.
man. Shout out to Tech. That's what I'm gonna say. Shout out to Tech.
Who's next? Big.
Oh, rest in peace, PH.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Today was the day.
Wow.
Today was the day.
I know
First
today for a while.
First rapper in Brooklyn with a street named after him. I don't give a fuck who you asked or what
Pumpkinhead.
you said.
Wow.
We did it for PH first. He got hit. 5th and DeGraw, Brooklyn Zone. Shout out to PH, Underground King. Rest in peace. We love you. We miss you. Salute to you and your children, Raiden Royce and Little Robbie.
Let's go.
Shout out to the whole family. Shout out to the Plague. Shout out to all of them. We love you and we miss you.
And rest in peace to Vice. Rest in
Always.
peace to Vice.
Bigger.
Bigger.
Shout out to Math Hoffa, my brother. I love him. My voice is heard by y'all because of him, you know. So
1
that
billion
is
percent.
salute, you know, all day. Shout out to my son right here. You will be hearing from him. Shout out to my men outside. Shout out to all my men everywhere, all throughout the city that's working at clubs, stores. I love you guys. Without you, Bigger World could not be. Together, we would take over and we would run this place.
Yeah, it is.
You know, Esso couldn't be here, so
Yeah,
you know,
shout out to Esso, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Esso.
He's taking care of it.
Doing the valiant thing.
Yeah,
taking care of his parents.
Of the shit that's important.
yeah.
Really important.
He wanted to be
Facts.
here to sit down.
Yeah,
you know?
he did.
Yeah,
He did.
And just
Yeah, he
shout
would have
out-
tapped you on the shoulder like 50 times.
Yeah, he'd be like, so Adam, tell me, what's the payout from the record label?
How many deals do you have? Right now?
What
Currently?
does it take to close a deal, Adam 22?
Do you have your
Because
publishing?
these guys are creative, Adam, and I can see that you're not a creative.
I'm almost kind of, when you put it like that, damn, I fucked up. I gotta come back.
Oh no,
You gotta go back.
Reoccurring guests for
Yes,
sure.
definitely.
Oh, whenever.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I co-sign.
And Math, Adam, you guys convinced me to come out of retirement with the porno broads.
Lord Jesus.
Yo, stay tuned for my expert opinion after
The
dark.
dark. Oh, we're gonna make an OnlyFans page and some other joints and nipples and milk. Carol, I'll have
Bleep
somebody-
this guy, man. Bleep this
Shout out
guy.
Black Dave. Shout out Kai. I know they went outside to smoke and Math got a little heated for a minute there, but they're good guys, man.
Nah,
Good
we gotta
time.
respect the show, you know? Adam,
Respect.
it's been a pleasure.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and everything. Yeah. It was worth staying out till midnight.
Woo!
That's dad shit.
Ric Flair.
Bang, bang.
I'm being that Uber bumping that new Beyonce.
We out.
It's Hoffa. Trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars, I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.